Whoops. There we go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Bearable Traders Pre-Market Show. Look, I have support. I am very happy to be here with John, who's back in the saddle, supporting me this morning. Good morning, John. How are you doing today, and how was your evening yesterday?
Peter, how's it going? Great. I watched the Starship launch. I'm a big rocket space nerd, so I made my wife watch that with me, and she does that because she loves me, but she does not like watching same things I like to watch.
I saw only afterwards some of the posts, so I understand it went well.
It did, yeah. I don't get me into details because I could do an hour and a half here talking about it, but yeah, no, it went well, and so still a few things to figure out, but progress made.
I enjoy watching the launches as well. I don't know why it's it would be a bad thing. I don't know. I find it entertaining.
Yeah, she works a long day and she wants to come home and watch Hunter Wives or whatever, hey, marriage is about accommodation and occasionally giving John the TV, so I suppose what it was.
Yes, dear. Sometimes you just need to say yes, dear. All right, well.
Yes, dear.
Welcome to the trading day, everybody. We have another interesting day as the markets continue to just show strength. The SPY is doing very well. I was looking at that this morning. I noticed that we are sitting, after yesterday, we are sitting, close to, not quite at all-time highs, but, it's just, you can't stop this thing, man. The markets keep going. You can see that it's just churning up here towards the high. Got all these levels that are all smashed in right at these highs because that's where everything's happening in the last couple of days. Tonight we've got earnings happening with NVDA, and I know everybody's looking forward to that. We will be having a live broadcast for earnings, so we'll be back at 3:30 this evening to do NVIDIA, and there's other earnings, but does anybody really care? It's all about NVIDIA. And yesterday the markets were moving weird. We had these weird, sudden movements on all sorts of things that if you were on the wrong side of could have hurt greatly. So, but it's today we'll have to see what happens because, as I said, biggest company in the markets, biggest company ever to be publicly traded, and when they have earnings, people are going to pay attention. So we'll see what happens. This morning, we've got a few things on the gap list that we'll talk about, some of which are from earnings, some of which are just because they're moving. But before we do that, let's talk about the economic calendar, which is looking a little light today, John.
It is very light, yes. Not much going on. Richmond Fed President Tom Barkin, who still has a job, will be speaking at noon. As far as he knows.
Well, I mean, technically, Lisa Cook still has a job, or at least as far as she knows.
Anyway. Yeah, it must have been a fun Monday for her to come into work.
Yeah, I've always wondered how that works when you get a letter from, I don't know, the president that says you're fired, and you're like, nope, showing up for work. How does security handle your badge access? Are they
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know how that works.
How do you do small talk by the Keurig machine with your coworkers trying to act like it's not a big deal?
That's right. Yeah, everything's okay, everybody.
That's cool. How was your weekend?
This is fine. Everything's good. Don't worry. Anyway, all right. All right, let's take a look at the gappers list, guys. We've got a few things here, some of which are familiar, some of which are not usually on the list. But we'll start with, this is like MongoDB, isn't it? Yeah, MDB. Yeah. Here we go. And why is
They're
this
up
here?
A lot. Yeah, how much is MDB up right now? It's up
30%.
It was up 30% earlier. Yeah, it's holding in there. Big old jump. Earnings, indeed. They earned $1 per share against an estimate of 66 cents per share. So pretty good beat there. and revenue of 591 million versus 551, and that's a pretty good gap there. $40 million. Usually the estimates and the results are much closer. So pretty good beat and a beat there, very strong. And they said their subscription-based software revenue is increased 23% to 572 million. Raised estimates, everything's looking good for MongoDB.
Now, despite all that good news, I mean, they've only traded 680,000 shares, so the volume's a lot lower than I normally would like to see if I'm going to be trying to trade something. And, normally I would expect then it to be traded on the New York Stock Exchange, but it's not. It's a NASDAQ traded stock, and the fact that the volume is that low, you know what, makes me think it's probably not the best target for my gappers list. By the way, let's get the gappers list in on here. I'm going to leave this off for the time being. I just don't like the volume. Normally, on a regular day, it trades on an average 2.6 million shares. So that's really not a lot of volume. I think we're going to find better things. Speaking of which, the next better thing that I saw on the list there was KSS, Kohl's, and I believe this is another earnings play from this morning.
Yep, Kohl's reported earnings 56 cents per share on an estimate of 33 cents. Nice beat there. Revenue of 3.55 billion versus 3.48, another beat. Sales are declining though for Kohl's, but they're improving profitability through margin expansion and cost-cutting measures. And they're also touting a bit. I did not know this, but I don't know why I would. They have a partnership with Sephora, the makeup company, which completed its rollout this spring. That's looking to be a $2 billion business for the two of them here in the future. So can always sell some lip gloss.
You certainly can. Well, look, this looks a lot better to me. I mean, the price action looks much smoother. We've got over 4 million shares traded. It's up about 20% right now. So, yeah, Kohl's is to me a better target. I'm going to add this to my secondary list so that I can keep an eye on it and maybe set some levels on it a little bit later. Next on our gappers list is AEO. So this is American Eagle, and again, the only time this thing ever shows up is earnings. So I got to assume that's why it's here again.
Yeah, this one jumped onto my list here. AEO, come on, earnings whispers, give me my AEO. Here it is. Actually, I don't have the numbers yet. They still have the numbers from March 29th. Did they I guess they pushed this morning, right?
I don't know. That's a good question. I actually, were they earnings after hours yesterday? I don't see them.
Oh, wait. No, Abercrombie's A&F, aren't they? Who's AEO?
American Eagle Outfitters.
Huh. You're right.
Well, you know what?
Is.
They're only trading 680,000
Wait.
shares.
Peter, I'm having a senior moment here. What company are we talking about?
AEO.
American
AEO.
Eagle. Okay, Abercrombie and Fitch reported this morning.
Okay.
I don't know why AEO is moving. Let me. That's why I'm getting confused. They both sell clothes that I don't wear anymore.
Is this a sympathy move? Did Abercrombie and Fitch do something good, and that's why American Eagle? No, American Eagle's gapping up. Abercrombie and Fitch is gapping down. I don't like either one of these, by the way. So I don't know if you can...
I've got it. I'm pretty sure I got it. American Eagle in True Colors. In True Colors by Travis Kelce debut limited edition collaboration. Could that be the news?
Wedding wear? Is that what they're going to be?
Yeah.
Posting?
That's some good timing. You announced your wedding to Taylor Swift yesterday, and then you announce a partnership with American Eagle the next day. This is all complete coincidence, of course, Peter. But yeah, that's why that's why American Eagle is moving.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. That's a reason for American Eagle to move higher. I have trouble imagining what a Travis Kelce line of clothing would look like. Anyways,
I can help you with that. I've got an image here. I can share in the chat, or maybe you can pull it up in the into the room. Let me just grab it. It's going to be a little small, I think, but let's see. It looks horrible.
looks
To
horrible.
me.
The image or the
I mean,
clothes?
the clothes.
Okay.
Well, I'm just looking at Travis there. It looks like he's
Are
going
are
hunting.
are you sharing this? I don't see it. But
It's
maybe
in
I'll
the
zoom.
BBT chat room.
Oh, in the BBT chat room. Oh, let's see here. We'll bring this up. My bad. Hold on a sec, guys. We'll get this working. This is it. This is Travis Kelsey wear. Oh, he does look like
That's
he's going
hunting
hunting.
wear. Yeah,
Okay.
that's a good camouflage right there. I assume the
Uh,
clothes around him are also part of his line. The other clothes look fine, I guess.
I don't
Hey, to
know.
each their own. I don't. What do I know about fashion? Look at me. I'm wearing a hunting hat and an old hoodie.
Well, the guy on the right's wearing a hoodie in the back, underneath a velour jacket of some sort. So that's
Yeah.
apparently you need to accessorize. Actually, Travis is wearing a hoodie under his camo, so you just need to put camo on top, John. I, I guess technically you do have camo up top.
It's not my place to comment. I couldn't be more out of touch. So
All right.
congratulations anyway to Travis Kelsey and American Eagle.
All right. Anyways, we probably talked about that more than we need to. From a stock perspective, it's 700,000 shares in American Eagle, up 5%. You never know, right? I don't I have to admit, I don't see Swifties and then the Travis Kelsey offshoot Swifties as big traders. Maybe they are. I have no idea. Any Swifty traders out there? Speak up. I just don't know if this is going to move with the type of volume that would get me interested for my trading this morning. I'll put it here to come back to a little bit later to see if the volume picks up. Maybe it's going to do something interesting just because we've spent so long talking about it. Okay, let's go back to our gappers list here. The thing that's moving up and down the list here seems to be Serve, because it wasn't on my list originally. Now this is one that I like because Serve Robotics, they make those little robotic droid things that are supposed to be roaming the streets of LA and other places to bring you pizza and stuff that people like to kick over. I assume they've sort of figured that out. I don't know. Little arms that'll put itself back up, or maybe some taser guns to take out the people that are kicking it. I don't know what they're doing. What are they doing, John?
Well, I have a solution for the problem you're mentioning. Have you seen
Oh,
the robot in China they use for crowd control? It's essentially a giant ball and it's covered with
no.
like tire material. Yeah, so you can't kick it over because it's a sphere and it can push people around and stuff. So that would, I mean, get a little collaboration going there. And then now you got something. You get the food would be suspended in the sphere in some sort of
Like a
like another
gyroscopic
sphere,
thing,
but
and yeah.
yeah, and be able to stay balanced while the rest of it rotated. I can see this whole thing in my head, Peter. We got something cooking here. Um,
Just rolling down the street, taking everybody out in its path. But
taking
your
people
pizza
out.
will
You
be
want to
hot.
kick me over? I don't think so. That's right. I think they got picked up by an analyst firm, Wedbush Securities, who gave them an outperform rating. I believe that's where this little boost is coming from here.
Oh, okay. Well, Service trading
I'll
just
be
under 800,000 shares. It's up about 5%. If I look at the daily on this, I mean, it's really sort of look how long it's been in a range here, right? A pretty tight range between $9 and $12. So I don't know that this is going to be the day for Serve Robotics. It doesn't feel like the news is quite strong enough to make it happen. All right, I said we got a couple things that are just jumping up and down the list here, so we'll handle these next two, starting with ONDS, and then we'll move on to CoreWeave, which is there. But anyways, ONDS, Ondas Holdings. Every once in a while, I see this on the list. I have never liked it. Today, I mean, look, it's actually been on the climb since June. It looks like. But this morning it's only up 2.6%. It has 850,000 shares traded. I don't love the look of it. If I zoom in here on a 5-minute chart, why am I zoomed out so far? The trading looks fairly light. Any reason for it being here, John?
I'm just making sure it's not an earnings play. No, I don't think it is. I believe the news is that they've appointed someone as head of global corporate development, Mark Green. And if Mark Green is someone you
Oh.
want to hire, then that must move your stock. That's the only news I see here. What does this company do? A leading provider of
Oh.
autonomous drone and private wireless solutions.
Okay.
Interesting.
Don't like it. By the way, one of our members posted a picture of that ball drone you were talking about. So look at that.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, I guess it's not a complete sphere, but it's close. Yeah, I love it. Look at the tire tread. It just looks like it means business.
Yeah. It does look. Yeah, it makes me think of a small version of the. You see a Battleship, underrated movie by the way, in my opinion, but had who was in Battleship? I know that it had Rihanna in it, and I'm trying to remember who the main actor was, but it's just like it's B
What was
class movie stuff. Anyways,
what
yeah.
was the premise of that? That was fairly recent, right? Last top five, ten
Uh,
years.
last 10 years, yeah, it was like it's not a great movie, but it's a good action movie. It's sort of like it makes me think of what's the one with the kaijus and they build the robots to fight it. Why can't I remember the name of that? Anyways, it's that type of movie. But yeah, it's an
It
alien
was an
invasion. And he co-ops
Yeah.
like an out of service battleship to beat the aliens. It is totally ridiculous and totally awesome. Anyways, yeah, it's it's a movie
Like,
based on the Battleship little board game thing. But anyways, it's there you go. See, they had those. Anyways, the aliens had these bombs that were these big rotating circles. See, our members can post a picture for me. So, and that's they looked like that, and they were like ripping through like all sorts of the ship and things, and that's what that. Anyways, robot makes me think of.
it
So,
does look like that Chinese
yeah.
drone, though. You're right.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. Let's get back to stocks. The last one I said I was going to talk about was CoreWeave, CRWV. Let's get back here. 730,000 shares, up 2%. Again, we got a bunch of these that are in this sub-million share traded, up about 2 to 4%. They don't usually end up making the list because they're not all that great. Is CoreWeave doing anything interesting this morning, John?
No, no, I
No
think
good
it
news?
just got on there with a little 2% gap up. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
nothing there.
Nothing great. Okay. Well, then, how about other things gapping up this morning? Anything, John, that you want us to take a look at?
Well, like notably gapping up, PLTR was up a decent
Hmm.
amount. It's up 1.4% right now. And I want to say, actually, now that I think about it, when I checked the gappers list maybe 40 minutes ago, that was on there momentarily. Um,
Right. Yeah,
so
it's
yeah,
been moving down. You can see over the last half hour, 45 minutes. So yeah, that would be why it's no
yeah,
longer.
so it got up to 160, up over 164. Now it's back down to about 163 at the moment. So no, it's lively today. So and PLTR had that just a big old sell-off from as it was approaching 200 and investors were licking their chops for that obvious milestone. It pulled back from about 190 down to as low as 143, and now it's kind of trying to get its way back up there. So um this is actually a level. I'm sure if we look at levels later, there's a high from August 22nd that got up to 163.20. So that might be a little bit of resistance here as it tries to get back some of those bigger losses.
Yeah.
Could be something.
Oh,
What else is gapping up as I scroll down my list? Not much, Peter.
we got
Nothing really. Everything
we
is
got.
very like in the down 0.5% to up 0.5% or somewhere,
Right.
between flat and that. So yeah, not much happening.
Tesla, fits that category. Nvidia up just under 0.5%. Microsoft up 0.3%. So, yeah, we've got, like you said, a bunch of stuff, and then the rest of the Magnificent Seven are gapping down, but the same thing, right? They're gapping down like marginal amounts. So, pretty quiet for the big stocks this morning. All right, so that means we need to go back to our gappers list and see what we've got on it. Top of the list right now is Nuke. Nuke, N-U-K-K. It seems to be gapping down this morning, about 4%. So not big. Our gap down list is not dominated by things that are moving a lot. 700,000 shares traded on Nucleus Inc. Um, I don't. I'm just looking at the chart here. I'm not excited, but John, is there news? Why is this down?
I think it's just it went up yesterday because what did they have yesterday? They launched a defense subsidiary and secured an exclusive U.S. distribution agreement with Blade Rangers. I don't even know what any of this means, but anyway, it gapped up quite a bit yesterday. What you're seeing today is the opposite reaction. It's coming back down, so it's hitting the gap down list. But whatever, it's on yesterday's news.
Blade
I
Rangers.
do like this
Sounds
company
cool.
though, because Nucleus was the name of the compression product that Hooli made in the show Silicon Valley to try to beat Pied Piper. And if there's any Silicon Valley folks out there, you know how funny it is to have a company called Nucleus.
Okay. All right. Well,
Still waiting for you to watch that show, Peter. I'm
I
telling
know.
you.
It's on the list. I've got to finish The Office first, though, and then I can get to it. So, all right. I see BMNR gapping down. Bitmine. Usually, this just gaps down because the price of its underlying crypto offerings, or its treasury crypto, is down. I'm seeing that. Yeah, everything's crypto is. I mean, it's not down huge. It's not up huge. It's just sort of doing its normal sort of modulation in a range. I assume that's why Bitmine is on the list. It seems to be on this list on the gap up or down every single day.
It seems to be here every day. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it has
Okay.
a easy time getting on this list. Bitcoin is it's down. It's about $111,000 right now, which is really back to what was the resistance that Bitcoin found around 110 to 112, somewhere in there. It kind of spent a long time trying to get through there. It got up to what, like I remember seeing prices about 123,000, and now it's maybe around there. And now it's come back down to that level. So as stocks or assets often do, previous resistance becomes new support and vice versa. So that's where Bitcoin's sitting right at the moment.
Indeed, it is. So, all right. Um. Okay. So, oops. What have I done? I've messed things up. The other one, next one on the list was JD. The good old JD.com, gapping down 3%, just over 1 million shares traded. Look at this horrible daily, though. I mean, it's funny because we flipped the JD occasionally, but you can tell this must be dual traded because it gaps every single day, and it has a pretty tight range. That's usually a sign of a dual traded stock. I imagine it's traded the Hang Seng or some other markets, anyways. I didn't see any news on this, John. Did you catch anything as to why JD is gapping this morning?
The better question is, why are all the Chinese stocks down? So Baba's down 1.8%, Baidu's down 2.6, JD's down now 3.2. I'm looking to see if I have any other ones on my list. I don't, but these are all birds of a feather that flock together. But that being said, I don't know why all the Chinese ones are kind of taking a hit this morning. So if anyone happens to know that, I'd be interested to hear. But they're all kind of dropping here,
Dropping like
and
flies.
they're not great to trade, in my opinion. But
I agree. They
maybe
used
someone
to
could
be
prove me.
fun. They have long since stopped being fun. So, all
Yeah,
right, we won't
yeah.
look at that. Now, look, I'm going to go right to the bottom list because this one popped up yesterday, and I did watch it as I guess I sort of expected because I've never had a good time trying to trade this. DJT gapping down again today. Just made the list. 2% gap here. 400,000 shares traded. If I sort of go back to yesterday, like pre-market, it looked like it was going to be an awesome trading day for DJT. Is it shot up here pre-market around 8:30, but then look at what it did for the rest of the day, right? Sort of the sideways choppy movement. So I don't think it's going to sort of be an interesting trader today, unless do we have some like new offerings from DJT? Anything exciting going on? Did I miss it, John?
No.
Okay.
This hit the list yesterday. And this is probably just a ripple from whatever happened yesterday.
All right.
Um, why did it jump yesterday? It was I might have captured this in a note. Oh yeah, yesterday they had a deal announced between Trump Media and Crypto.com to create a new company that will go public via a SPAC. The new entity will be a crypto accumulation company, but instead of Bitcoin or Ethereum, it will accumulate Chronos. So that was the news yesterday, and again, it's kind of like the other stock we were looking at. whichever one was up yesterday and is now down. Nuke, I think.
Right. Okay. There you go. Okay, guys, things are popping on and off the gappers list, as you can see. Abercrombie and Fitch that John had mentioned just hit 200,000 shares, so that's why it's on our list here. At
Oh.
down about 6%. Not an interesting trader. Nothing to look at there. XPev is one that's been jumping up the last couple of days onto the list, but I it really is not a good one to trade. Again, it's another instance of those types of stocks that we used to be able to watch and have fun with. Recently, no fun. Really, it's not doing much of interest. You can see again these gappy days. Even when it's moving, it's impossible to trade, in my opinion. So, not much going on there. All right, other gap down stocks. Well, I mentioned Apple earlier, gapping down marginally here. Amazon down marginally. Google also same story. Meta, right? They're all just down a little bit, but really no volume. It's looking pretty quiet out there in the markets. Anything special on your radar, John, that we should look at?
I think there's two stocks that are special today, and one is
Okay.
NVIDIA because they have
Okay.
earnings
Yeah.
this afternoon.
Yep.
Uh, and be warned, sometimes stocks that have earnings coming up in the after the close can be good, but a lot of times they're not. Also, they just don't do anything. They just sit waiting in anticipation. And honestly, that 183 level on NVIDIA, if you look at a daily chart, it's been stuck here. Yeah, if you switch to a daily on NVIDIA, Peter, you can really see the resistance up around
Yeah.
whatever that is. So there's a good chance it doesn't really move far from here today, and then it waits for the data to come out. So we'll see. Just don't know, but as always, wait for your setup. So I'm watching that,
I think
and
you're probably right. You're absolutely right. Like on earnings days, usually, the money sits on the sideline. They wait for the numbers, which are only coming out of, I think it's 4:20 is the timing for Nvidia's earnings. So that will be, I anticipate, like you said, a pretty uh, quiet day in Nvidia. But you never know. I mean, who knows? This thing could move. But as you said, wait for the setup.
yeah, I guess the warning is like I might see Nvidia setting up for what looks like a very good high a day break, but it really has no intention of doing some cool breakout. Is because it's just gonna chop. So I'll have to be careful of not to get suckered into something that's perhaps not as good as I think it could be. And the other stock I'll be watching is Tesla because it broke 350 by the close yesterday, and it's slightly green. It's up at 352. Um, which is up about 2% or so over yesterday's close, 1.5%, 2%. So Tesla's in some interesting territory now that it's up above three, not very far. Trust me, at the open, it could easily plummet below that, but it's in a new place. Jared's been talking a lot about it and its ability to run a bit quicker, up above 360, I think he said. So yeah, as always, I mean, I think Tesla's been on every moderator's personal watch list here for a while, or
Absolutely.
nearly everybody. So watch that. Otherwise, I don't see a lot, Peter. I was going to mention the like that Baba and the other Chinese stocks were gapping down, but like we said, I probably have no intention of trading them. It's percentage gap wise, they're mildly interesting, but these aren't stocks I usually go for.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And if we go to Trading Terminal, we can see we've got earnings after the close that we were talking about. So Wednesday after close, Nvidia, Snowflake, CrowdStrike, HP. All right, we got a few things that we'll be watching. A lot of these you've got to be careful today if you're watching them because often they don't move, and sometimes the moves don't have the continuation you might normally expect. Nvidia is a prime example, I would think, where sometimes you will get, it looks like it's going to break, and then it just sort of, just sort of fizzles out right on you. So watch for that today. Yeah, it's pretty quiet so far in the markets. How about you guys, both in the chat room and on YouTube? Anything that we haven't looked at that you really think we should put up on the screen? Yeah, I'm all for it because our list is pretty light today. I mean, I really only have KSS and AEO, which I'm not really that excited about either one of those, but they're here just as because I had nothing better to take their place. So if you've got anything, let me know. PLTR. We did mention PLTR. I see a mention of that. Like we said, it's no big news today, but it can be a good mover on any given moment. It's sitting here at the 162.75, and yeah, it's hopefully it's going to make some interesting moves to be in play. Serve, we did talk about SERV, so they are gapping up here a little bit. And Open, wow, that was from I think Monday. Is when we were talking about Open. I look at this horrible price action. Let's go to 1 minute. This is algorithmic trading, right? Computers trading computers. Whenever you see these little, what I call a barcode, or these types of candles, it's immediate warning to stay away from it. So it looks like yesterday Open did have some interesting moves at least, but I don't know how easy it was to trade. I have to admit, I wasn't really watching it, but that could be interesting. I see someone mentioning SATS. That was another one that was on our list yesterday. I actually, believe it or not, was long on this thing at the open yesterday, and but yeah, it didn't end up moving all that much, right? Choppy in a fairly wide range here, but it was in that range. Jay Smith, I see you mentioning Boeing. Not one that I was looking at. What's Boeing doing today? It's moving a little bit higher here, up 0.6%. Low volume, 96,000 shares, but that's not unusual. Boeing typically doesn't trade a lot of volume pre-market. On the daily, it's in an interesting spot. Boeing is sitting at the higher end of this range, and the only thing higher really is this one day where it gapped higher and then sold off, probably the biggest candle in this entire chart. Well, this one way over here in April. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Boeing's going to have a day today. John, I don't know if you can see any news on this. But Boeing.
No, I don't think so. I'll check real quick.
Yeah, Boeing doesn't seem to matter what the news is. It'll just move up when it wants to move up. Boeing is one of those stocks that I am firmly convinced it trades on the New York Stock Exchange, and it is totally dominated by the institutional trading and the market makers, right? When they're making a buy or selling it, it doesn't seem to matter what the actual underlying news is. It just moves. And yes, Jason, it'll make that move after stopping you out every single time. I am not a fan of Boeing. Just I struggle with it. Some people love the stock. I just generally don't even bother watching it because I have too many bad experiences. So. Dorota, you're mentioning Apple. Yeah, not doing much this morning. I mean, Apple's pretty much right at yesterday's close. It had sort of a good steady climb yesterday. If we sort of back up here on the 5-minute chart and look at yesterday, you can see that after selling off at the open, it just sort of went this slow climb throughout the day yesterday. So, who knows what it's going to do today from a daily range. It's nowhere particularly exciting. You can see, obviously, it's been significantly higher in the past. It's been significantly lower. So it's just sitting sort of mid-range in this area of consolidation. I think it's going to continue to consolidate for a little while. So we'll see if that proves to be true. All right, guys, thank you for those. Nothing new, I think, that I'm going to add to my list out of that. So let's take a look at what's happening in the community, because it is a Wednesday, and that means that we have a number of things that are happening. It's Wisdom Wednesday, so we focus on psychology, and John, maybe you can tell us about the webinar and sessions, I guess, that we've got for our members today.
Yeah, psychology webinar tonight. We'll actually start in order here. So we have a futures session, back to futures, great name. Today at noon. This is with Dr. Vanessa Charland, the weekly lunch mentoring session discussing breaking down trades, market structure, psychology behind consistent execution, but futures focus. So definitely check that out. We have a lot of people curious about futures. There's lots of ways to day trade, equities and futures and options. And if you want some insight into the world of futures, go check that out at noon. That should be really good. And then tonight at 8 o'clock, we have Dr. Randy Howell discussing your unseen money beliefs that block your success in trading. And I just want to say, I say this every time I do these pre-market shows, which isn't very often, but go check out these psychology webinars. They're so good, and everybody said we have no problem saying 80% of trading is psychology or 90% of psychology. We're all very comfortable saying that. But yet, if you look at the attendance in the psychology sessions versus the Tuesday night strategy webinars, it's consistently lower. They're well attended, but they're lower every time, right? So, like, how does it make any sense when we say 90% of this game is psychology, but we don't want to hear from the psychology guys sometimes, you know? So, definitely go check that out. They're always good, and every time I talk to someone who attends ones for the first time, they're like, well, I should be doing more of these. And then the following week we have another one with Dr. Kenneth Reed, and he'll talk about the one thing, and that one thing is simplification, which is another thing we mention a lot in trading. People, I think every trading book you ever read says to keep it simple. They all say that somewhere. I actually have a slide I made of snippets from like 15 different trading books that have a quote about simplicity and how you should simplify your trading. So it's another thing to remember. We're very keen to see the next shiny toy and say, I want to add this indicator to my trading. I want to add this new software to the way I trade. Those things can be good, but they're adding complexity at the same time. And you always want to think about how you can simplify. So maybe check that one out next week with Dr. Kenneth Reed.
There you go. And Vanessa's going to be with us here live on YouTube, by the way, when Thor joins. I think she will be joining with him, so that's always good. Plus, doing the noon session for all of our elite members in the webinar room.
And if you'd like access to all those awesome psychology webinars and everything else, include the mentorship sessions, the future session, Nathan teaching you about Bookmap, Brendan teaching you about DOS. The best way to attend all that is to go for our elite annual membership. $11.99 gets you access to all our advanced classes, live webinars, and things like that. And of course, the chat room that we're in right now, and the chat room that will continue to be open for the entire day into the earnings analysis later this afternoon. You can also do that on a monthly basis for $199 a month. Or if you're not ready for that, think about one of our basic memberships. We have the intro for $39 just for a week, just to come check us out and dip your toe in the water, or the basic monthly for $99 a month.
There you go. We mentioned it yesterday. It's up and running. If you're interested in going to Thailand with Andrew and a number of traders, we did this in Colombia last year, and it was absolutely fantastic. They're going to Thailand at the end of November 30th through December 6th, and it's promised. It's going to be a fantastic event. It always is. Andrew knows how to throw a good party, that's for sure. And it's great to sort of be in the same room trading, especially when you're trading with a magnificent backdrop, and you're sort of trading in paradise. It's pretty awesome. So you do not have to be a member if you're interested in going. We had a lot of people. I'm always amazed every year. We've only done the big retreats. Colombia was the first one we did last year, but we've done lots of summits and gatherings, and it's always amazing to me how many people are not members that choose their first event to be one of these trips that we go on. And if you're interested in that, if it's something that you would like to attend, go to our website, go to bearabletraders.com/retreat, and you can find the information. I noticed on the webpage, by the way, there's some different dates on the main page. I'm pretty confident these are the dates. So it's a well worth attending. A couple of questions I see in the chat room. Do any of the mods know if they're going yet? I know that Carlos is going. I know that Pierre's going. Who else is going? I think Thor said that he was going. I don't know who else. I know that nope, Thor's not going. Okay. I know that John, Mike, and myself are not planning to go unless you change your mind, John.
Not at the moment. I don't think I can swing it.
Oh,
but
Eamon's going? Dang, Lenny and Eamon are going apparently, and probably Paris. You know what? I will go just to meet Eamon. I've known Eamon since he was like a baby, and I feel like it anyways. And I still have never met him in person. We just are past.
He wasn't even a doctor when you met Eamon. Can you believe that?
No. You know what? I remember Eamon's a great trader, by the way. If you guys don't know Eamon, he's a fantastic trader. And I remember having this deep conversation with him once where he's going to quit. He was going to quit med school to trade. And I'm like, whatever you do, just have the med school, finish it. Like he was so close. He was like in the last year. Just finish it so you've got that degree, something to fall back on. You never know. If nothing else, right? Like give away your medicine as a charitable event, right? Go volunteer somewhere. Do some good. Because it's good to have things outside of trading, in my opinion, no matter where you are in your life journey. But in any event, so there you go. So we got a bunch. So Carlos, Paris, Eamon, Lenny, looks like they're all going to be there. So it should be a lot of fun. Of course, and Andrew will be in attendance. Question about Anshu is asking, is in Malaysia very often? Is checking on the format. Normally, the way it works is it's sort of centered around the trading. So the open. So trading will happen in the morning. Whatever. I don't know what the time zone difference is in Thailand. Is it 10 hours? 12 hours? I really don't know. So
I don't know.
whatever it is, you guys might know better than me. I probably should know this, but basically they'll do outings and excursions, and there's usually events planned when there's no trading. But trading will be scheduled from usually about whatever the Eastern time zone, 8 a.m. to about noon or 1 p.m. That's when the trading is scheduled for, and then there's other events around it. So. Hopefully
Yeah, the market opens. It's 11 hours. Some people are saying on the chat.
11.
So the market would open at 9:30 p.m. If you start imbibing by 7 o'clock, you're 2.5 hours into the cordials at that time. So make for some great training. Maybe not great results, but it's a lot of fun.
Well, then this has got to be this has got to be perfect for Paris. He's got to be there because we joked before that he needs to move into this time zone. So because he doesn't like to wake up early in the morning, so he can sleep all morning.
That's true.
Literally,
yeah.
Wake up in the evening. He can trade his morning session and then hit the club immediately afterwards. So sounds like a perfect setup. So. Harrison full of
One thing I would suggest to people is maybe price this thing out, because I know Andrew often takes a financial hit to make all these things happen. So you never know. The package he's offering might just be a really great vacation deal.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this price that he's put together, it is absolutely. I promise you, you're never going to find a better deal in terms of what you get. Andrew does put in a lot of things. Like I said, in Colombia, we had private chef for breakfast. We had baristas serving us coffee right in the reserved villa. I know here in this case he's got some big, like, and these are like 5-star villas that he's got booked here, right? 6 and 8 bedroom villas that he's got booked here. So so basically we all get to trade in one big sort of communal space, which is awesome to do if you've never done that. Trading with a bunch of people in a room is pretty awesome. So usually have the internet set up so that we make sure that we've got the bandwidth, and yeah, it's pretty awesome. So anyways, well worth doing if you're able to go and interested. Last thing I'll mention about something that's well worth doing is our Peak Capital Bootcamp, which is starting in 1 week. Starts at the beginning of September. If you're interested in the session, it's an intensive 3-month course that'll give you an opportunity to improve your skills. Whether you're just getting started or you've been trading for a while, the boot camp can really be beneficial. The only people I keep saying that I would not recommend, if you've literally just started trading in the last couple of weeks, it may be too early for boot camp. The best way you can take advantage of bootcamp is at least you have some idea of where your strengths and weaknesses are and the type of strategy you're looking to focus on. Even if you haven't fully fleshed out the strategy, as long as you know what type of trader you are in rough terms, we can build on that. The people that struggle the most, frankly, are those that come in and say, I've got no idea what to do and no direction. Because they've got to do a lot of work. Now, we do have courses as part of the boot camp that can help them with that, but it takes a lot more work and a lot more focus. And we already throw so much at you. There are something like a dozen different classes and courses per week that you can attend. There's live trading. There's all the events that we've got. So it's very intensive. Go to pcapitaltrading.com and find the information if you're interested in the boot camp. There's still a couple of spots left for the course starting in September.
Yeah, speaking of good deals, you're not going to find a better deal out there for trading education. I don't know if you can do it, Peter, but if you the schedule's there, if you go to the members home and go to the calendar, you'll see the list of events, and it's just it's very it's packed. It's intense. It's a lot of learning. But every one of the sessions on the calendar that you see is live. It's all in Google Meet format. We're meeting on camera on microphones. You see all those sessions there with Brendan, Thor, Dr. Charlin, Mike, Eamon, Brendan, Dr. Reed, Megan, Carlos, myself, Peter. It's that's the
Yeah.
schedule, right? So
And this is what I'm scrolling through. This is just September, right? So this is your first month, right? And then we've got your second month of boot camp. Like I said, we keep you busy as there's a lot of stuff, right? Your third month, I mean, it's packed every single day. There's trading day. There's events for you. So
yeah. So check it out. Still got slots.
There you go. Okay, guys, let's get to setting some levels. We have just over 14 minutes until the market open. I'm going to set a couple of levels. Let's start with the few things I have on my secondary list. KSS. I can see that I have a previous level here, 1519, that I must have set at some point when I was looking at this thing. It's got to be back in time. And if I scroll back, it looks like an area we had some support between two gaps back here at the end of last year. So I actually like that level. I'm going to keep it just to see what happens. The current stock price on Kohl's, though, is $15.80. So we're right in this range. I can see that happens to be the top end of this gap range that we were just talking about. So I'm going to put a level there, and I'm going to put one at where the gap sort of finished. And I noticed that happens to be where the high and low of the pre-market is, so that's probably not a coincidence, right? There's a reason why it's gapping in this range. So that gives me some daily levels to watch right around here. Again, I don't think this is going to move significantly. That being said, look at this big day that we had back in July. So it's worth watching the open price here, the high price. I'm going to just mark those because it's such a big candle. Look at the massive gap. And then the sell-off to end up in this total range. So I think that we've got this well bracketed. The highs and lows of the previous 2 days set some downside support levels for us right now. So I think that's got Kohl's set very well. The other one that we had on here is AEO. Again, this is sort of this feels like a moonshot. I don't know whether this is going to really play very well. We have 1 million shares traded now at a 4.6% gap. Currently trading at about $12.73. I have it on here just because everybody's talking about the Taylor Kelsey move, news. Anyways, so and we by the way, I thought it was very funny. My wife showed me this thing last night. She said I have to send it to my son because my daughter-in-law is a huge Taylor Swift fan, and it was like advice to all the guys out there that aren't Taylor Swift fans. If your girlfriend, spouse, wife is a Taylor Swift fan, just go with what she says. When she talks about the wedding like it's her best friend getting married and she's so excited, just go with it. Don't say you don't even know her. Don't say you're not invited. Just go. Pretend it's like the wedding of the century and you're so excited for your bestie who's getting married. And I thought that was excellent advice. So, in any event. All right. So, this is moving on news that we talked about because Travis is launching his own clothing line. And, who knows? This might move. It might not. My guess is it's not. But just in case it is, I can see that the highs and lows of the previous 2 days are at the downside of this move. I can see this day here where we had a little bit move. The high is $13.55. So I'm going to put a level right there. That's probably enough. If it moves out of that range, I'll come back and revisit it. Otherwise, I think that's where we're sitting. On my main list, well, we talked about these. NVDA, not expected to do all that much today. We've already bracketed this with levels that we look at every single day. Again, this topside range, it's currently trading about $82. It's really got to get up. If it can get up over 84, right, where it sort of peaked here, the all-time high is $84.48. We could be off to the races. Again, that if it's going to happen, it's much more likely to happen after hours when earnings come out, assuming NVIDIA has good earnings. But otherwise, it's probably not going to do it intraday, but it could. And if it does, you should be ready for that. I'm going to set a level right here at the all-time high just so I'm ready for that. 48 is where I need this number. There we go. All right, so that's set. And that's probably good. The other one is Tesla that's on our list that we were looking at. And again, Tesla, like John pointed out, it's over 350 and sitting at just under 352 right now. Again, I've got these topside levels at 360. We mentioned how important that is. If it can break through $360, it could be off to the races. Now, we know that this has been much higher right in the past. I mean, 420, obviously that number everybody looks at, but that's a long way away. And we've been all the way up as high as $490 almost. So, long way to go if this thing chooses to go higher. But in the last couple of months, it hasn't really, right? It's been between about 310, 320, and the 350 range. So, again, no expectation today it's going to move, but who knows? Sometimes people get excited. There was a rocket launch. It's Elon related. It might move Tesla. You never know. So we'll be watching Tesla to see what it does today. It probably has the best chance of any of the stocks I've looked at this morning of moving, in my opinion. So we'll see that and PLTR. I think they're the two that have the biggest opportunity to move today. PLTR sitting at the top end of this range that it set in. If it can get into this gap, see this gap that it set back at right at the beginning of August, I think there's a good move opportunity. And I want to set a level right at what's the low end of this? The low is 169.22. Let me put that level right at 169.22. I can be ready to these things gaps. I might know where it might find resistance to the top side if it can get there. So we'll see what happens. Those are the levels I'm going to be looking at. Don't know really what's going to happen today. Pretty quiet, isn't it? I know there's a couple of things that people have been mentioning while I've been talking. OKTA, for example, that had earnings after the close yesterday. I see that it's gapping up about 4%. Low volume, though. It's only traded about 680,000 shares today. It's, again, don't love the look of it. It's got an interesting gap level up here that we can put. Whoops. Trying to set a level, man. There we go. But that's way up at $112. I don't think it's going to get there. I also can see, look at this area where it had all this support and resistance. There's like a bracket area in there. Anyways, I don't know if OKTA is going to move. I don't think so. But we'll see what's going to go on. All right, guys. So, I need to add, you know what? I need to add to my main list here, PLTR. It should be on there just so that I'm actively watching it. And that's my list. Why don't we take a look at what our moderators are watching, see what they've decided to watch. Maybe you'll get some ideas out of that, some stuff that maybe we haven't covered yet. Let me bring this right into the screen so you can take a look at that. And maybe, John, you can give everybody the rundown. John is...
I muted myself, Peter. Sorry.
Okay.
I have a clackety keyboard and I didn't want to bother you. Thor's watching Amazon, interesting one. And on the future side, M2K, MES, and MNQ. Megan's gonna be watching. We have an Okta person. All right, Megan's gonna watch Okta, and Tesla. Jared's gonna be watching PLTR, Mongo database, and Okta. More Okta. Secondary, Coles and Tesla. Eamon, potential long. DKNG out of nowhere. Eamon's always got the sleeper stock. Brian is going to be looking at Tesla, NVIDIA, Abercrombie and Fitch, Okta, the SPY and the Qs, Brendan, NVIDIA, AMD, PLTR, AMD. Gary will be looking at CoreWeave. I think he might be the only one with a CoreWeave up there. Also Tesla and PLTR, myself, Tesla, and Phil, NVIDIA, Tesla, and OKTA. A lot of love for OKTA there, Peter.
Yeah, there's a surprising number of people watching it. We'll see if it's, if the watching is warranted. I'm skeptical, I've got to admit, but we'll see what happens. So, all right, guys.
I thought we'd see more Mongo. I'm sorry.
Sorry?
I thought Mongo would be more popular today, honestly.
Oh, well, let's see. Mongo.
But,
yeah, see,
what do you know?
It feels a lot like OKTA in the way it's moving pre-market, in my opinion. But we'll see where it goes. I could be wrong on both counts. I'll wait and see. If they pop up, then I'll look for one of my reversal trades on it. But I'll definitely not be trying to get them at the open. So. Okay, guys. Well, that's what we've got. We got about 5 minutes till the market open. We've got Brian, who's going to be trading live, and I don't know who's with Brian today. Who's trading with Brian? Is Thor back? Is Thor trading with Brian? I'm not sure.
Thor's been doing a solid lately and coming in for the open. I don't know if he'll do it today. I'll probably join you over on YouTube if that's all right.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Stick around, and we'll do that. All right, so you in the chat room, I'm going to hand you over to Brian's tender mercies, and whoever joins him. I assume, Brian, you're ready to join. I haven't seen him jump in there, and I'm going to set my platform up to get ready to trade at this open. And I think that we've got again. I don't know what to expect. It feels very quiet. It's often on these days where it feels quiet, where you get the surprise moves and some great trending stocks. So I'm hoping that's the case again today. We'll see where it goes. And I love Ali Zia's like short on PLTR today or long. Yeah,
Hey,
yes, those are the options.
keep an open mind. Okta is
Yeah,
popping at the moment, so maybe our mods
oh,
got it right. Maybe this is the exciting one. So it
oh
just
yeah,
jumped about $2.
yeah. Look at that! Wow, it is. It is jumping. Maybe it's because everybody decided to get into it. Who knows? All right, there you go. Brian's in the chat room. We'll leave the chat room to him. Good morning, Brian. May you have a wonderful and fantastic day. And guys, don't forget, Brian's going to be joining us. We're going to be doing a live broadcast at starting at 3:30 for earnings this afternoon because we've got a bunch of earnings like we were talking about earlier. So we've got Snowflake, CrowdStrike, I think, and NVIDIA, of course, is the big one. So we'll take a look at all of them as they open. Trade Smart, we'll be back. Well, Brian will be with us in about an hour. We'll stay with you here on YouTube. All right. Let's get this going. On what? OKTA. It jumped and now it's dead again. Just had this one moment of excitement. That's
I
what she
was
said.
wondering, 'cause sometimes you see those 1 minute candles spike up or down, and then they just return to where they were. I was wondering if that was kind of the deal there, but it's holding the pop. It's just not continuing.
Yeah, it is holding so far. Okay, what am I going to put over here? I'm going to put, well, I got to put OKTA just to keep an eye on it now. I'll put MongoDB, although I have no expectation of trading these things. I already got PLTR. What else do I need? Coals. Let me put coals over here. And I just want to, I really want AEO to be an excellent trader today, but I don't think it will be. Go Travis.
If it
My
does
wife,
trade well, it probably has more to do with the wedding news than it does with his clothing line.
there you go. Probably. My wife is not a big Swiftie, but she loves the Kelsey brothers. She used to listen to the podcast of the Kelsey brothers. She's a sports fan, football gal, so she would listen to the Kelsey brothers all the time, and it's very funny to listen to them because Travis, like self-admittedly, he's not the brightest bulb. He's not a dumb guy, but he's just like when he's talking with his brother is making fun of him all the time, and it seems like an unlikely match to work out. But I guess opposites and stuff. Anyways, so my
I don't
wife
think
was
I
one
ever
of
heard their
those
podcast.
ladies who was upset that Taylor was invading her football. Whenever you'd show they'd show a Chiefs game, and of course the camera would be constantly on the box where where Taylor was hanging out. She's like, "Come on, man, let's just focus on the football." In any event,
I find it funny that this is going to be the equivalent in America to like a Prince William wedding in Kate Middleton or something like.
yeah.
Britain
Well,
has those beautiful, amazing royal weddings every so often, and they're pretty rare, but they happen. And I guess we won't see another one until their kids grow up, which is crazy.
there, there you go.
But this is ours. This is our big
And,
one. So it better
and yes,
be
Ian.
public.
Yep. Yes, Ian. My wife is cool. So. All right, guys. A couple seconds here to the open. We've got we're heading towards it. We'll see what happens. I'm keeping an eye on Tesla. I'm watching, of course, all the usuals we were talking about. KSS Coles getting a pop, and there's the bell. So let's see what we get. Push down on PLTR right at the open, and of course a pop up on Tesla like it wants. I should just like go long at the open on Tesla. More often than not, you'll get an opportunity. But
If there's ever a morning,
I never do it.
maybe do that. I would say this morning might be the morning, but I don't know. Here's a question though, Peter. Do you think Netflix has already reached out to Taylor Swift to try to land a deal to broadcast this wedding? It's worth a try.
I hadn't even considered that. Yeah, that might be something. I mean, when they took her live concerts and made sort of a movie event out of it into the theaters, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know if she's going to try and keep it private or if she's just going to admit the publicity and live broadcast it. It's a good question. I guess we'll find out. To the best of my knowledge, they haven't announced a date or any details on it. So my wife's first thought was it's got to be after the football season because the Chiefs and the league would want it to distract from the actual football. But now the Kansas City Chiefs have a built-in excuse if things go bad because they'll be distracted. Oh, look at that! Look at that move on Tesla. Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Yeah, there goes Tesla a bit.
Just can't force.
That was sneaky though. That first candle looked pretty sad, and then it popped up over it. That's a weird second candle. Spies popping here to use as well.
It is pretty jumpy here in Tesla, so I'll have to tell where it's going to go. Looks like it wants to go higher, but all right. OKTA that people were looking at is gapping down right off the open here, so we'll see MongoDB not doing much yet. Coles, popped up before the open. Now that the open's hit, it's also not doing much. LTR.
So MDB is worth pointing out. The spread is hitting upwards of $1.50 at sometimes. It's kind of averaging about 75 cents maybe. So it's quite large for the price. So just be aware of that.
Oh, damn it. It's looking to take a short on PLTR. I was going to go short, but I want the top of this range. I don't want to go short at the bottom of this range. So to see if it wants to go red, it's hanging out below VWAP. It's got all these overlapping candles. It looks weak to me, but PLTRs can head fake you on that stuff. Well, I'll have to just keep watching it and see what it does. Tesla. Oh, Tesla didn't continue its climb. All right. NVIDIA dropping down here early on. It's moving a little
I could
lower.
see NVIDIA selling off today, but I can't see it going up. I don't see that being like up 184 and 185. I don't think that's what it's going to do today. Just a hunch. There goes Tesla a bit higher.
Well, it is quiet so far. I don't have any trades, and again, PLTR still looks weak here to me, but it's could be sucked higher by the market if the market chooses to go higher. So, I don't like the range in which it's trading. So, as much as I want to go short PLTR, I can't from this spot. OKTA continuing to sell off, hitting a new low this morning. Here it is. Octa? However you say that. I guess it should be octa if it's an English word. It's like a Japanese word.
It reminds me of okra.
Oh, wow. KTA selling off. And PLTR did end up dropping. I missed it. Look at that. Oh, well. That's the drop I was looking for. Didn't have the guts to take it.
Google's trying to go green here. I never like to take a high a day break at the previous day close, and the pre-market highs right next to it too. So it's a pretty tough level. So nothing there, but it is trying to get into the green. Somewhat interesting. Very choppy here, Peter.
Yeah, it is so far. And you can tell that if we just look at the market overall, you just have to look at the the indices, the triple Qs, right? Hasn't moved very far. It's up marginally. The SPY also up a little bit, but aside from that one candle at 931, it hasn't done anything yet. But we're still early. Still very early, so don't be afraid to be patient out there, everybody. Right? It is fairly choppy. What AMD I see people are looking at. AMD, yeah, AMD's also in a range here. It doesn't give me any indication as to where it wants to go. Some people say they're short NVDA. Yeah, it's moving down a little bit.
Oh, I almost picked Tesla there. I hope it doesn't run through 355 briefly
Tesla,
and right
yeah.
back to its
Tesla's tough.
fault.
It's got these big $1.50 candles that are all overlapping each other. I don't like that.
Yeah,
Kind of
it
movement.
doesn't look good. I'm trying to be very patient here today because
That's
I
good.
really think this might be a very crummy day to trade.
Well, so far, I would agree with you.
Remember you were
KSS,
saying that Tesla kind of seemed like it was driving the market yesterday, Peter?
yeah,
It really was. If you watched it in the afternoon, like especially the last hour, it was having a pretty pronounced influence.
yeah, it seemed to be. Banner, you're saying KSS looks short. Let's take a look here. It does. KSS. When the few times I have watched it, it does tend to like to sell off no matter what it does pre-market, and it could be short. It's just it's a risky trade here. It's sitting at the low end of this range it's set. If it drops, I think you can get a move down at least to 1540, so it's a 40-cent move. The problem is the risk to reward to me. You'd have to put. Yeah. See, I'd have to put like about a 40-cent risk on it, just to, in case so I don't get stopped in unreasonable chop. And if I put a 20-cent risk, that means I need sorry. If I put a 40-cent risk, that means I need an 80-cent reward. And it's got to go all the way down to $15, and that feels a little aggressive based on the way it's moving so far. So yeah, I don't know what KS is going to do. It does feel more short than long, but because of the risk to reward, I personally wouldn't take a trade on it. The level 2, looking at it though, is a little bit more stacked to the top side. Yeah, I don't know.
Mongo's coming back up to its pre-market high here.
Oh, yeah.
This thing's having such a good day, up 32%. That's a lot. I don't care how good your earnings are. That's a
It
good
is
chunk.
it is a lot. Wow.
G-Man was
LTR.
asking me to explain.
Go ahead.
G-Man was asking me to explain why I think I'm not sure what comment you're talking about, G-Man. You're probably mentioning or asking me to explain why I think the day might be choppy, I'm guessing. Um, it, and it may not be. There could be very directional here, but we'll see. But my thought is some mornings when I open up my watch list, which is pretty extensive, and I see a lot of green and a lot of red, like it's kind of split in both directions, and nothing's really gapped up or down a lot. It's stuff is maybe up 0.5%, down 0.5%, or somewhere between zero and that. It just kind of lends itself to a choppy morning, and then take the additional NVIDIA earnings this afternoon. I don't know if I'm overthinking it or putting too much emphasis on it, but it is the biggest company in the stock market, and it is kind of a bit of a bellwether these days. And I expect NVIDIA to be kind of boring today, and it may influence the market to be boring as well. But we'll see. I don't know. Still watching Mongo here. I have some alerts set for high days, so if they go off, you might hear them in my headphones. I turned them up quite loud.
All right. MongoDB's halted in its move higher here, and yeah, it's I mean, Tesla just doesn't. That's ugly. Look at that chart. That is not pretty price action. So yeah, whenever Tesla does that, that's usually a sign it's a relatively choppy market. I mean, look at the cues. It's gotten worse since I last showed it to you. Look at this, like just all these overlapping candles in
Yeah, it's
in
terrible.
a very tight range. I mean, the SPY looks a little bit better. At least it's moving higher. But yeah, the cues are just ugly. Was that AMD that you guys were looking at? Yeah, see AMD. Yeah, again, no idea what it actually wants to do. I don't think it knows what it wants to do. It's just sitting here for now. The only thing that I could have, should have, would have taken is that PLTR that I called it out back in the second, third minute of the market. Anybody take it? Because you'd be sitting nice right now. I did not. The IWM
Baba
Sergey.
Baba just broke high of day. I don't expect it to do much, but it's the only stock on my screen here that is, well, and coin is trying to go for a new high, but that's about it.
Oh, the IWM is good. Look at this. It's the one few things that have moved up consistently. So that's a big basket of
Oh,
small to medium sized tech companies. Usually the Russell 2000, I think. So what's the IWM? So yeah, it's moving decently. At least it's directional this morning. Coin. Somebody says
yeah,
they're long
sure
on
is.
coin. What's happening on coin? Ugh. I mean, it is going higher, but look at these candles. That's going to be a gut wrenching ride unless it starts to move a little bit better. Amazon, you think looks good? You guys are watching all sorts of different things. This is what happens on this type of day, right? Like everybody's got their different stock that you're watching, and that's okay. Whatever you've got, just again, have some confidence in the move. Give it a little maybe wider range than you would otherwise. I've got a lot of Romo here for missing PLTR. It's down at lows of the day, under 160.
Amazon's threatening 230. I gotta think there's a lot of shares at 230 on Amazon just because it's such an obvious level. And I'm scrolling
Yeah.
down to check that out. And they're actually, no, wait, I'm on the wrong stock. I'm on IWM. I'm like, why does that look right?
Let's see.
Yes, 230, tons of shares at 230 on Amazon.
Yeah. See about 150,000 shares sitting there waiting to be called upon. And a bunch of people front running it, right? With tens of thousands of shares sitting at 229.98, 229.99. So, yeah.
Ooh, big hit on Tesla there.
Oh, yeah. So just moved into the red. Well, no trades for me yet. Quiet. Quiet for me.
It's not really my play, but I'm going to watch Tesla if it comes down to that pre-market low. But now it's already bounced. It kind of bounced before it. Core weave is moving here. Very hard to predict to that move, but that's moving up.
Yeah. Four weave. I really am regretting not taking PLTR when I hold it. My loss. Lost opportunity. Guys,
Yeah, or NVIDIA. That thing is just
what's the mantra?
Plus equal
Huh?
351.03.
I did not do that.
all right. Tesla's going to come test 350. Oh, and it just went down it very quickly down below it, which brings it close to the high from Monday, which is around 349.50.
Gotta write this trade down that I missed. Something to journal for later. Definitely a missed opportunity. Well, guys, quiet on the Western Front. NVDA is selling off here this morning. Not hugely, but about $3 from where it opened. Because it was green in the pre-market. Opened at 182 almost exactly, and has sold off, I said. About $3 here, $2.50.
Wanted Mongo here for a long, but you know what? I can't afford that spread. I can't do that. That's irresponsible. Now watching if it's going to break about the 283 level and make a run from there. I can't do that. One of the harder things I have to deal with myself is talking myself out of a stupid spreads.
Yeah. Big spreads. On MongoDB, I see it jumping here between about 30 cents and 90 cents. So, yeah.
That's what I can't handle 90 cents. It's stupid.
Yeah. That's tough.
Baba going for another push here.
Who is Tesla's back in the green momentarily, anyways. See if it can hold over the close from yesterday. Speaking of
Tesla's big job today. Tesla's big job today is to close above 350 to maintain what it accomplished yesterday. I'll call that a victory for Tesla.
English language is nonsensical many times. Isn't it weird that close and close, we say it the same way, but it's clothes? Really? Like clothing and close the door? Put on your clothes and close the door. Anyways.
Have you ever seen the guy who makes videos poking fun at pronunciations? He basically acts like a teacher and a student. He plays both roles, and he's like, "What is this word?" And the person's like, "Bear," and he's like, "Okay,
yeah.
what if I put this letter in front? And what is it now?" And it's something else. It's funny. It goes back and forth.
Seen that guy, yeah. And he's right.
It
Like
really makes
language is English.
Yeah.
English is ridiculous, really. If you look at how we pronounce things, and then we have like 4 spellings for a word that we pronounce all the same way that mean totally different things. And anyways, yeah, it's you can tell it's a bastardized language, right? Like we've really adopted it from 4 or 5 different languages over time. So
yeah, those videos make me appreciate. Well, it must really be hard to learn English. But, I've tried to learn a few languages and a lot of tricky ones. German's no piece of cake.
German, as long as you can learn all the root words, you can like speak German. You just have to put them all together into one giant.
Yeah, you kind of string things together. Yeah.
I know no German at all, but my kids had 2 copies of a book. One was called The Rainbow Fish, and the other one was called The Regenbogenfisch. And it was all like one word, Regenbogenfisch. I don't know if I'm even pronouncing that, but that's how I used to pronounce it for the kids when I would read the book in German. Because they knew the book, when little kids, they know the book by heart. It's one of those little picture books. There was the rainbow fish, and the rainbow fish would give away her pretty scales to other fish to make them happy until she had no rainbow left, but she had all sorts of friends. Anyways, so they knew the book by heart, and then I would read it in German, and they would sort of say it in English, and I had no idea. I was just pronouncing things phonetically. No idea if I was saying them right.
That's funny.
It entertained us.
That's pretty cool. We have a famous family video of my older son reading a book called Millie Moo. When he's not really reading it, he memorized the entire book so he could flip through every page and basically say what it says.
Right.
Adorable.
It's
Here goes Mongo
oh wait, let's go back to Mongo.
going higher.
The spread seems to have tightened up here a little bit. It's 10 cents to 30 cents now.
Yeah, I actually
Don't know.
took some Mongo at 285.10, so I'm gonna be quick on my hotkeys here. This might be a quick $100 loss because it's not gonna take much of a snapback to penalize me for this idea. Yeah, it's not going.
All right. John's giving it a shot.
Oh, it's so hard to read. I'm basically trading this off my P&L because it's easier to read than the damn level 2 trying to read the spread here. All right, we're in the green a little bit there.
Here
That's
we go.
better.
Yeah, 286. That's good. Good for John. There you go.
So I have a hotkey to move. There we go. That's a really good move. Oh,
Oh man, this is getting choppy here.
it's very nerve-wracking. All right, come on, go back up. Go back above 286. That's oh sugar.
Oh.
Okay, I'm out. I'm out right around my entry. That's the high day break life. It's not hard to predict a stock that's going to break its high of day. Like by some measure, it's going to go above it. It's all about whether it carries, and you better be ready to get out of one when it's not carrying it. And that takes a lot of practice, kind of, um, because when they fail, sometimes they fail for the whole day. Like that was as high as it was going to go all day, and you do not want to be trapped up there.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Well, as you pointed out, not an easy trade to begin with. So.
And of course, here comes the bounce. As the SPY helps it out, SPY on the Q's popping, giving Mongo a little boost here. And yeah, okay. Now I'd be up $200. Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Well, these things are always easy in hindsight. Hell, I'm still staring longingly at PLTR or the short that could have been. So that's the way it goes.
Yeah. But because of the spread, how much it was moving, the low of those candles on that pullback would have had me at almost max loss. So it's just,
Right.
gotta let them go sometimes. AMD's coming up here, Peter, to near its high of day. It's up at the pre-market low, which I always associate as a sad level, kind of a
sad level, the pre-market low.
yeah, like stocks claw their way back to get to their pre-market low because they've been down, and then they just kind of reject from there because it's just kind of a sad place to be anyway. Where'd you get to? I got to my pre-market low. Womp womp.
Ain't a sad stock.
Google's had I guess you could call it a consistent climb here since the open, but it would have been a kind of a nerve-wracking ride, but it keeps going up.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Funny, it's a dull morning, Peter, but we are not far from that SPY all-time high at the same time, which is only up at 646.50. Everything
Yeah,
seems so dull.
the close yesterday was pretty close to it, so it doesn't have to go that much higher to break through. NVDA looks like it might have temporarily bottomed here. We'll see if it can No, see, like this is sometimes the miracle of levels. So I drew a level off the daily chart, this 180.13, and it's roughly the 180 level. But look how even just on moments, these 1 minute candles, it had support for a couple of minutes. Now it seems to be resistance. And again, it doesn't matter if it stays there for very long, but it shows there's some significance to the level, right? So is it just hesitated before dropping and it came back up and then it's hitting its head on it? So love it when that happens.
Core weave took a big hit. It's dropping pretty hard here. Oh, these charts are awful, Peter.
That's a big down candle, but that's an ugly chart on CoreWeave. Yeah. Yeah, it is not, it's not a great day. And,
just looking at coin, there's actually a gap in the 1 minute chart on coin. Man, that's not something you often see. That the volume is down at it's not even 800,000 shares, almost half an hour into the trading day. RVOL's 41%. I mean, so there's definitely some really low interest stocks here. The SPY itself is only at 49% RVOL, which is pretty low. So it's less participation today overall.
yeah, good point on that. You're right. It is quite quite light on the overall volume. So quiet day. Looks like everybody's just waiting for something interesting to happen. Like that kid from the Incredibles. This guy.
Someone mentioned hymns in the chat. No, go ahead, Peter.
I was just gonna say this is what the market's doing today.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Sorry, you were gonna say?
Somebody mentioned hymns in the YouTube chat. Hymns is at its high of day right now, and it's trying to get over the pre-market high. It's got some direction to it momentarily, a little bit of volume coming in. It's the kind of day, though, because there is a lot of indecision and just low volume, that there's going to be these levels, the pre-market high, the previous day high, the previous day close. When stocks get up to these levels or down to them, you might expect a tough time getting through them. There's not a lot of initiative in the market here today.
No. I see Daboom mentioning SMCI. What's it doing?
Ooh, an old favorite.
Not much. Looks like it's doing sort of what everything else is doing. It is at least the high of day, but that's not saying much because that's right at previous day close, pre-market low, all these sad levels that John was talking about. They're all consolidated here on SMCI. So bless you.
Thank you. Did that sneeze come through? I tried to mute that.
No, I just saw it. I recognize the head bob of a sneeze. I don't know if it must be allergies this year, but I've been like sneezing. I go into these sneezing fits, and they're quite powerful. I'm like an old man sneezing now, where I just like let her rip.
Yeah, we got to be careful at our age. We can hurt our back sneezing and things like that. Push in the hospital.
That's true. That's try and hold it in. You're like and then you pull something, and you're like, I'm stuck. It's horrible. Trying to stay active, though, to avoid that. I had a good day yesterday. Went for a spinning class in the morning, played pickleball for 3 hours, then played squash. So, I figure yesterday was a good day.
It's a lot of racket sports.
It is. Good for the hand-eye coordination. Keeps the brain active. They say that people that play racket sports live longer, healthier lives. Funny because Europe playing pickleball is a nice light sport. Like you can play it for hours, and I find without any problems. And then an hour of squash will kill me. Like I sweat more in an hour of squash than I did in 3 hours of pickleball. But pickleball is great for hand-eye coordination. But anyways, people are like, "What? You're gonna go play something else afterwards, or you've been here for 3 hours? Oh my god, that's so much!" And I'm like, "Come on, man! Like, this is nothing. There are people that do real work construction all day, and then go to the gym, and then go out clubbing. I don't know, like, or work a farm all day. They're doing 100 times the work that I'm doing. It's really, I spent most of my day with my fat butt sitting in this chair. So,
I never tried squash. I like racket sports a lot.
yeah.
Squash is like the sport like a finance guy would play, like in his lunch break,
It was big in the like 80s and 90s movies. Yeah, it was always like, somebody in New York playing squash or racquetball.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like the racquetball, but
It was always the evil character too. Like it was somebody who was up to no good with
it was.
squash.
It was. That's the thing.
Weird.
It's like being a Porsche owner. I find like whenever I get a movie and it's always the bad guy with the Porsche, I'm like, really? Do you have to give the douche the Porsche? Come on, man. Can't you? Anyways.
Yeah, that's never going to the hero. Yeah.
Except risky business. He had a Porsche. That was, but anyway.
True, true. Real underdog movie. Makes you think how much Magnum PI really helped Ferrari because they really put
Ferrari,
that
yeah.
car in a great light. Yeah, they must have sold a lot of Ferraris.
There are a
that
couple
show,
of
just for
shows that did
years.
that. And Miami Vice with the Testarossa.
Miami Vice had the Testarossa, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
two very different types of Ferraris there, but they had the '80s Testarossa, and then you had the very more classic, I would say, Ferrari and Magnum PI. Yeah. Good twist
That's
at the end there. I like. It made sense, of course. Magnum PI, that show. I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but it's long past.
a great show.
What was the name of supposed to be the name of the absent owner of the place where Magnum PI lived?
Oh, right. So Higgins was the caretaker, but you always got the vibe he was Jonathan Masters. Was that his name?
Masters, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turns out that, it makes sense. It was really his place. He was
It
the
was
master.
Higgins in the end. Is that what
Yeah.
it was?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, they suggested it the entire time.
I mean, it would make sense. He had a lot of freedom to make decisions that you think he shouldn't have. And he was very
Yeah.
indulgent of Magnum PI, who was really just a freeloader, I think. Wasn't he, at the estate? I don't think he did anything there. Anyways.
He was a good pal, I think, is why Higgins kept him
good
around.
pal? Okay.
In the end, he's just a good friend. He's a good
He
hang.
entertained him. He amused him. So, because it wasn't his car. It wasn't Magnum's car either. It was Master's vehicle. In any event.
Yeah.
Speaking of cars, no advanced.
All the good backs.
I don't have my car back.
But you're closer.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm gonna text the guy right now because Monday they said my car should be going into the shop by the end of the day, and then I've heard nothing. Let's see.
So folks, I know we're talking a lot of cars here and other things. This is one of the worst trading days I've seen in a long time. These charts look terrible, and part of trading is just not trading, and it's a great day to personally not trade. These are really disgusting looking.
Yeah. Again, I only have one trade that, frankly, I think was an opportunity that I missed out on, and that was the PLTR that I mentioned several times, which is now actually moving sideways, so that downward movement seems to have halted for the time being. NVDA also has halted its downward move and is moving marginally higher. And even Tesla, which normally we can count on for some decent moves, didn't really do much. It did get that little bit of a drop, but again, none of this I felt was easily tradable. And it is now, look at these. These are remarkably tiny little candles for Tesla here as it's moving sideways. So pretty quiet. What's
Somebody in the
the
chat mentioned making some money on Cracker Barrel today. That was a smart move actually, with the maybe some of the news of sticking with their old logo, whatever. But Cracker Barrel's up 8.5%, Peter. We weren't even watching this in the pre-market show.
what's the ticker for Cracker Barrel?
CBRL.
So what was it? I saw something on X about this that they had a logo debate, or what was the
They they pulled a there's been a few companies that have done this that have just really simplified their logos, but in my opinion, I will side with some of the people who weren't fans of it. It really looks boring. It looks like a company that's just given up. Like, it is such a dull looking logo. So there was that. There used to be a guy, Uncle somebody. I didn't even know he had a name, but there was like an old man on a rocking chair on the logo. They took that out and they just went with text. And I guess they're doing a rebranding of the stores as well. So they're just it was kind of a cluttered restaurant, with the stuff on the walls and all that. And they've kind
right?
of
Yeah.
made the inside a bit cleaner. I don't know. They got some pushback, so they reversed course. I think they're going back to the old logo, and I don't know what that'll mean for the makeovers on the stores. I don't know if that'll be some part of that as well.
President Trump has weighed in and commented on that, so I guess that's got it some attention. It is interesting the things President Trump chooses to comment on the things he chooses not to talk about.
Yeah, he definitely looks for the things gaining some media internet traction and tries to get some of that. It's an interesting thing I heard during this whole Cracker Barrel thing, though, and I never thought about this. That a lot of people have been complaining stores have become much less interesting looking. So Taco Bell's used to look like Taco Bell's. The building literally had a shape that kind of looked like an old
Yep. Like the logo.
Spanish church or something. Yeah, and yeah, like the logo. And Pizza Hut famously always looked like a Pizza Hut, right?
Yeah.
And Cracker Barrel looked like an old country store. And nowadays, a lot of brands are moving toward stores that are just have more of a box look, just like a strip mall kind of rectangular store with no interesting architecture to it. And the reason that people are saying is because if you want to turn these things over, it's much easier if a Pizza Hut doesn't look exactly like a Pizza Hut, right? Because
true,
it's always everyone's gonna know that was a pizza. I can tell by the roof. So yeah, in the construction cost, Dan mentions in the chat as well. Yeah, it's much cheaper to build a rectangular glass enclosure than it is to build a country store.
Yeah, which is a shame, I guess, because you're right. There was at least some interest in that design interest.
I saw a funny meme though once, and I think it was a Domino's that had taken over a Pizza Hut. So it was a Domino's outside, branding, but it was in the shape of a Pizza Hut, and the meme was something along the lines of, you've truly defeated your enemy when you wear its skin, or something like that.
I like it. Fast food's always an interesting topic to me because there's a lot of these restaurants I don't go to. I won't go to a Cracker Barrel, although we don't really have those in Canada. Pizza Huts, I don't go to. But then there's ones that, like, everybody loves to beat on Arby's. Arby's. Everybody loves to hate Arby's. And I have to admit, Arby's sandwiches are like one of my guilty pleasures. I don't like the artificial cheese, but I don't know if it's fake roast beef or real. I don't know, but they're curly fries and an Arby's sandwich sometimes. Guilty pleasure, and I know that people love to hate it. But
this is how great my life used to be. I was for summer I had to spend in New Mexico in a hotel doing something for the Army, and so I had to eat out. I had no kitchen facility at all. I had to eat out there in the world, and Arby's was kind of my health move, which might sound hilarious, but that's how in shape and uncaring I was about my health in my 30s, because I could actually be like, you know what, I should eat healthy tonight. We'll just go with a roast beef sandwich from Arby's. And to me, that was like my salad.
That was the definition of healthy, eh? Wow.
Yeah.
See, look, even in the chat here, you know what? Mike thinks Arby's is terrible. Miami's puking all over Arby's. Trading Pennies thinks Arby's has great sandwiches. I don't know. Like I said, I get it. Like it's not. It tastes weirdly unreal. Like I get the, is it real roast beef? Is it fake? It feels like highly processed roast beef. I don't know. It's just one of those that, in the right mood, I will absolutely enjoy an Arby's sandwich. So, it just is. I will admit that to you.
I haven't met fast food that I don't like, Peter. I might be a disgusting human being, but I will partake in all. I don't get to have it very often, so put me in a Wendy's, and I'm having the time of my life.
I don't go to KFC. It's not a favorite of mine. I don't like their. I mean, chicken is chicken, and their fries are usually horrible. I still haven't figured the soggy fry thing.
KFC, I don't like touching my food, so I don't really like getting into greasy food with my hands. So KFC is a problem for me.
Okay. Anyways, you could tell I'm hungry. I didn't have dinner last night because I was out playing all these sports. So I had a bunch of. I had like eggs and a tomato for breakfast this morning. So I'm still really hungry. Make myself hungry. Tim Hortons. See, I'm not a coffee drinker, so I don't go to Tim Hortons a lot. But I mean, you can convince me to eat an apple cruller at any point in time. So I just got a text message. I love these ones, right? Where you get the phishing text messages where I don't know if you can read that. It just says, "Hi there." Yeah, I'm not falling for it. Delete and report drunk.
My new one, for the past 6 months or so, I've been getting a recruiting email every morning. Just one a day. They're amazingly consistent.
I hear.
Recruiting. This morning was for what's the European UPS, the yellow one, DHL. I got a DHL recruiting text this morning.
There's that picture you were talking about.
Yeah, it's a different meme caption, but that's the photo.
That is clearly Pizza Hut takeover. I love it. Beautiful.
All right, Tesla's back to PDC here. It's been having trouble getting through this ever since around 9:45, 9:50. Really keeps resisting here. So let's see what it does this time.
I mean, the market's pushing higher. If I look at the SPY, at least it's moving higher here. So we're getting a little bit of a pop. And the Qs, I mean, they're not looking as good, but they're also back towards the high. So we have an opportunity for things to start moving, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. Nothing's setting up, but yeah, we're getting some direction in the market, and that's the first step for me finding something to trade.
All right. I have Tesla here, see what it does. And guys, yes, I'll sort of apologize, but it is what it is. Didn't really have an old man rant there. It wasn't I wasn't telling anybody to get off my lawn, but when the markets go slow like this, sometimes it's good to just distract yourself a little bit and wait for the movements to start to make sense. Especially being that I am in total
time to talk about.
So that's danger. You don't want a revenge trade because you missed
Bill from PLTR.
Yep. Yeah, because I mean it was a good move. It's still, if I'd gotten into PLTR where I was talking about it way up here at 162, I could happily be just sitting in this and ride out maybe this chop back and forth. So that's just, and I called it. I just didn't do anything about it. So you did make a good choice on OKTA. MDB is what I was thinking of here, because after you got out, it sort of just chopped around and then did drop a little more heavily. So never.
Yeah, it probably went high enough to get a partial on it, but it's just ugly. Yeah, it would have been irresponsible to even hold that long. So
right.
and it's on its way back down.
Yeah. So, all right. See if Tesla can break out here. You guys are helpful. You reminded me to text my technician and see what the heck's going on with my car.
How did you notice it had a problem? What was the symptom?
All of the warning lights going off that your engine is overheating and danger, meltdown imminent. That was the well, the very first sign was, John, I accelerate. There's a roundabout near my house that is on two high-speed roads, and they've got a big roundabout, so it's a lot of fun to take at speed because I can take it at 80 kilometers an hour without slowing down, so that's about 50 miles an hour. And of course, you get to zip by all the other cars because it's a 2-lane roundabout. Anyways, so I came zooming out of that roundabout and saw this big puff of smoke behind me, and I'm like, well, that doesn't look good. And by the time I got home, all the warning lights were going off that the car was overheating. So it was clearly at that point when I accelerated, the pressure was too much and the hose burst that caused the initial problem. So, and I lost all my coolant. So
I guess it's important when you drive an older 911 to always be looking backwards, as much as you can. So when a puff of smoke does happen, you happen to see it, because in a regular car, it's going to come through your vents and you're going to smell it. But
that's true.
Ferdinand Porsche,
the engine's
the engine
behind
in the
me,
back.
so yeah, you don't hear it as much, and you don't. Yeah, I'm not gonna see the smoke coming out because, like you said, it's trailing back there behind you. So
It's one of the reasons they put it back there in the original Beetle was just so you wouldn't smell it. It just, the engine was behind the passengers and all the.
is that the reason? I didn't know that.
I don't know if it was fully the reason, but it was one of the benefits they always mentioned of the early car, and yeah, I think it was on his mind. It makes no sense to put it there. You know that it's a testament to German engineering that a 911 is the amazing car that it is when the engine isn't just the silliest place.
Yeah, they've fixed the placement so it doesn't hang over the back wheels as much as it used to.
Right,
Yes,
right,
they used to call the early 911s the Widowmaker because you go around a corner and the back end would swing out because it was like a big pendulum, right? Because it was so heavy at the back. They fixed that. Like in mine, a lot of the fluids are actually kept. The gas tank and the battery are in the front. So because I fill my gas, believe it or not, the gas filler cap is before the front passenger door. It's up front. So.
Oh wow. So as you get lower in fuel, your light end gets lighter, kind of.
I hadn't thought. Well, I guess so. Yeah. I'm not sure where the fuel tank actually is, to be honest. I know it's not in the back because that's all engine. So it's got to be somewhere up front.
Hey, another testament though to German engineering. After 20 years, your warning lights all went off. I mean, that's kind of impressive. These electrical things just sitting there for 20 years waiting to tell you something, and then they did. So
that's true. Good. It does. I mean, I've got other electrical problems. It is a 20-year-old car, so it's like I've got an electronic wing that rises and lowers automatically at certain speeds.
Oh, yeah.
And it works perfectly fine, but the warning light goes off that it's failed. So I get this, it calls wing failure light that goes off, but it works. So it's an electrical problem, not a problem with the actual hydraulics that lift and lower the wing. But anyway.
So here's my latest automotive problem. My old car that I was driving before my Tesla, the parking brake will not lay flat anymore. So it bounces up a little bit, which makes the parking brake warning ding dong go off constantly. It just is constantly going off with this audible sound telling me the parking brake's not all the way down. So I went in my garage and I got a what's the beanbag game? Cornhole. I got a cornhole beanbag and I put it in my car and I just lay it on top of the parking brake now to hold it down.
I love it. Sometimes the easiest fixes are the ones that work. All right. Tesla is sitting here above the VWAP, so let's see if it can get any more height. And PLTR was above VWAP. It's just dropped back below here slightly. Like we said, the market has actually decided to move higher, so that's good. and the Qs even have gone green. So we at least have some direction now in the market. John might be able to find some high of day trades, maybe, if things decide.
I was just going to mention it. It's one of those funny days where the market is demonstrating some direction now. Qs have gone green, SPY's going up, but there are no setups, and there's not even one really close. Maybe coin is kind of at its high of day, but it's been pretty ugly up there today, and the volume is just atrocious on it.
Oh my, yeah.
So I don't think it would be.
Yeah, we're 50 minutes into the market, and you have barely 1 million shares traded on coin. Like you said, volume, that's pretty low volume, so that makes it hard to get momentum when you don't have enough volume. A lot of the other stuff, guys. So go ahead.
Oh, AMD also near the high days mentioned in the chat. So that could make a push.
Maybe. I was going to say a lot of the other stuff we were looking at hasn't done much. American Eagle Outfitters with the Travis Kelce line of clothing has really just settled here sideways. As expected, I guess it didn't really do much. Kohl's that we were looking at looked promising right at the open, but it sort of dropped what it had popped right before the market open, and now is just moving sideways. MongoDB, which John had taken an attempted trade on, now it looks like it's also settled into a range. So all those look pretty quiet here. NVDA is actually clawing back what it had lost off the open, so not yet green, but it's getting closer. And Tesla is happily sitting above VWAP, and looks like it's well, let's see, maybe it will make a push towards the highs here, back towards 355. We'll have to see together. So no trades for me.
To see, not a total. Yep, just one for me, and that MDB trade. I was just mentioned NVIDIA. I've definitely found some buyers there below 180 so far. So far, it's not going to be some devastating sell-off before earnings day for NVIDIA. Not yet.
Serve is higher. You're right on that, TBR. So yeah, it's not a big mover here. I mean, total move here is $1, but hey, it's better than a lot of other things. So I see someone's mentioning QBTS. QBTS, yeah, not doing much there, Parth. This doesn't look exciting to me. Umberto, you're being harsh with Travis. There's been lots of famous people that have tried their hand at different business ventures, whether it's clothing lines or cosmetic lines or alcohol, and arguably none of them should have been in those businesses. But sometimes they work. So if American Eagle Outfitters is willing to make a line of clothing they think would benefit from having his name and pay him for it, then you know what? I take the bucks, Travis.
The alcohol is an interesting one because a lot of famous people coming out with different lines of alcohol have done very well. It's what seems like sort of easily in the past 10, 15 years. But now you got the Gen Z massive drop off in alcohol consumption. So they're all kind of perhaps holding the bag on some of these brands now, maybe.
Yeah.
Everybody
just got a text
message.
Just got a text message back from my technician on the car. You know your car's in trouble when? His answer was, I said, any update? He said, so the technician is currently working on the repairs of the engine. Since he already had it out, he's doing the repairs and will bring the vehicle back in once he's ready to remount it. So he's working on the engine, but the car isn't actually in the shop. The car's sitting out in the back locked somewhere, but he's reassembling the engine. So I guess that's good. But when like those things are physically separated by like an entire building, yeah, that's never great.
And he probably needed more room to lay out all the engine parts. He's like, I got to get this car out of here. I don't have
Yeah.
enough room for
I think they wanted
all the
the
bits and
because the car
pieces.
was up on the hoist. I think they just wanted the hoist back, right? So they, meanwhile they were waiting for parts, they
Oh
literally
yeah.
shoved my engine into the corner of the bay somewhere. Although I will admit, the bay boldly the repair bay at the Porsche dealership was this big, lovely white bay, like it was very clean, and everything was white tile floors, white walls and everything. I'm like that's pretty bold for a place where you deal with grease and engine parts all day, but I guess they're making a statement with their repair facilities as well as the showroom.
Or we've making a bit of a move here. That has had trouble, two levels, pre-market high around 94.50 and yesterday's high around closer to 95, up around 94.80.
I love the comments, you guys. Football guy. Is that supposed to be football guy? But you're a football guy, anyways. Fun car talk. You're a professor in ice engines. Okay, well, maybe I should have got you working on my car. And then Humberto says, was it as white as a Cracker Barrel restaurant? Ooh, shots fired. Not untrue, but I like it. Call it like you see it, right? That's fair. It's like my wife. So my wife is Haitian, so she makes fun of my whiteness all the time, especially when dancing, it seems. But anyways, she married me, so it's her problem, not mine. I figure I just dance the way I dance. But she when I started playing tennis, she's like, "Do you really have to play tennis and join a tennis club? Like, there's no more white activity than joining a tennis club." Like, it is what it is. So I remember saying to her, I said, "Well, I thought Venus and Serena broke that." She said, "Don't even go there. Don't do it." I'm like, "Oh, all right." Still sensitive, apparently. You think NASCAR and hockey are whiter than tennis? I don't know. I mean, they're all on the white spectrum. I'll give you that. But
Tennis always could have done better marketing itself because I always thought it's a pretty approachable sport. You can a lot of cities have tennis courts. They're there. It's
yeah,
just they don't have people to get them in. Yeah, I'm a little locked in here trying to figure out if core weave is worth trading.
no, that's good. Focus on the trade. That's oh, I see. Yeah, it's gonna have to keep moving here, isn't it? See, and my challenge, guys. So this is the time of day where I look for reversal trades, but for a reversal to happen, I need John's high of day or a low of day to set up, right? Like I need something to have moved because you don't get a good reversal unless you've had a strong move one way or the other, right, to the high or to the low. So with everything doing what it's doing and sitting mid range, I also don't have any setups. I've got nothing. So there's not much I can do. Like I can easily tell by scanning my chart, sort of like John does. He can tell if something's going towards a high and what to look at. I sort of get to do the same thing because I can tell, in 15 to 20 minutes when my reversal is likely to set up, or at least has a potential of setting up based on, the strong move that it's made to the high or low. And being that nothing's yet done that, I know that it's a minimum of 15 to 20 minutes before I'm going to have any opportunity. And there's my direction change alarm that I get every day at 10:30. So yeah, it's pretty. So far, I've had zero
Yeah, I'm
trades.
watching
And
core weave here.
yep,
Core weave does not have the look you want for a stock approaching the high of day. You don't have a series of agreeable candles. They're not all like white or green candles moving up to the high. It's a mix of the green and the red candles, and the volume is sporadic. It's high and it's low, and it's high and it's low. But even the high volume bars on the 1 minute are not particularly impressive. So it's just getting to the high in a very I don't know, indecisive way, I guess. And these are not the stocks you want to choose to go higher, probably. Apple's at its high of day. Let's check that out. That's a hard one to make money on because I have to buy so much of it. But it's there. I'm so gun shy today, Peter. I don't want to be the guy keep taking losing trades.
No, I don't blame you. It's Apple is right at high of day here. Not by much, but this is the previous high
Yeah.
here, 25, and it just spiked by 2 cents. So do it. No, I don't know if you should do it or not.
No, I don't like Apple either. This may crawl higher. I don't know, but it's not a very efficient stock for trading. It's just it's expensive and it doesn't move enough, and that's kind of the biggest problem with Apple. $230 a share and a 50-cent move is like I would consider
Now,
very good on Apple. It's hard to buy enough shares.
would you ever trade one of those directional ETF derivatives? I mean, there's got to be some on Apple out there. I don't know what they are, but
I never do. I should probably consider that more. People have asked me about that. I usually go right to the horse's mouth, so to speak, and
like
just trade.
because there's NVDA, and then people don't like to trade NVIDIA. You can trade NVDL, which I know is which is a two-time leveraged ETF, and it's almost the same. No, NVDL here. What's the price? Yeah, it's only $90, so it's half as much, and you get twice the leverage. So that's a
Oh,
good deal. I mean, Apple's got to have some, but I don't know what they are.
I just had my finger on the buy button for CoreWeave, and if you click on a DOS hot button, but then drag your mouse away from the button and release your mouse, it won't execute the button.
Yeah.
So I hit buy on CoreWeave, and then I pulled my mouse away and I let it go, but it actually did pop.
I see that. Yeah.
That's as close as I can get to trading without actually taking the trade is the old mouse drag on DOS.
I've done that many times. Usually on purpose, right? Where you hit the button, you're like, "Oh crap, I'm not sure if I was ready to do that yet." So your out is you drag it away and hope it doesn't actually click. Okay, it didn't click. Oof.
Yeah. So CoreWeave does now. So basically, CoreWeave, what it's doing right now is the pattern I would want to see as it goes into the high, not after. So it never had this pattern going in. There was a single candle at 1031 that kind of punched up, but like not enough evidence. But it's like it's a late pattern here, and it's moving very nicely now.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
That's a killer move. Now that's how you make your money. It's a $96 stock moving that much, right? So you can buy twice as much as Apple just based on price alone, and you get such a better move. Of course, the downside is equally as exciting.
It's too bad you dragged your mouse away, John.
It is indeed. It is indeed a shame. That is a easy winner there, and it is still going.
Well, like you said, it didn't have a good lead in. I mean, it looks easy in hindsight, but all of this movement happened after the high of day was broke. So, or was about to break, anyways.
Might send this to Eamon as an example here, though. It's an impressive move.
It's a good little move. Let's see if Brian.
Microsoft's gone higher here.
Hey, Brian. You want to join forces on? Okay. Cool. And hello, friends in the Bearable Traders chat room. We're back. John and I have been occasionally talking stocks. We've been talking about cars and restaurants and Travis Kelce clothing lines and all sorts of stuff because this market has not been great. That being said, we're watching CoreWeave right now. And John's sitting on a pile of regret because he had the button pressed and then shifted his mouse away and didn't buy any. So he could have got this breakout. He was that close. I'm also sitting on regret because I haven't traded yet today, and I called out a short on PLTR right at the open at 162, sort of third minute here as it was just sitting below VWAP, and I didn't do it, and so my loss.
Peter. Well,
I know.
I have
did not.
to say, I do have to acknowledge that I wasn't thinking about PLTR, but then I noticed Jared was trading PLTR and shorting it, and caused me to look at it, and then I ended up shorting PLTR. So I did take the trade, Peter.
Good. Well, I'm glad you did, and good. At least it's always comforting to know that Jared was sort of thinking the same way I was, even if I didn't do anything
Jared,
about it.
I have Jared to thank for it, and that's power of the community, because I had taken one trade. I had shorted Lee. It kind of looked like a rising devil to me, but it just did not really do much, and it hasn't done much. So thank goodness I got some other idea for an opportunity to trade. I was scouting NVDA and kept talking about it. There was a big order on the on Bookmap at 179, and I was just waiting for it to go in and fill that, and that would have been down around S6. And I really wanted to get long right there, but it just did not. It came within about a couple dimes of that 179 and just bounced. So I missed that trade, but a number of our traders in the room, quite a few actually, got that reversal on NVIDIA.
It's interesting
So
you
that
mentioned
was
that because NVIDIA's been doing that the last few days where it'll get very close to a level where there's a lot of orders sitting, but never quite get to the level and not take out those orders. And that's a behavior that I used to notice in Apple all the time, where Apple could leave orders forever. Like it would get close, 5 cents away from a level, never hit it, and just leave those orders there for days on end. I'm wondering if NVIDIA is going to start heading into that mode, but we'll see. I mean, earnings, of course, will bend this.
Well, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see the reaction to earnings. I think the general consensus is they're going to show pretty significant growth, 50%. But the question is it sort of already priced in? Are they going to have some things to say about what are they going to say about China? We know their chip sales are down quite a bit in China. Is Huawei going to start taking some of their market away as well? They may not talk about that, but yeah. So
somebody in the chat room had posted an article about a Chinese competitor to NVIDIA who was touting their sales were up 4,000% in the year. I'm not sure if it's the quarter or the year, but I'm thinking, that's the power of being a Chinese government supported chip maker, right? How else can your sales go up 4,000% in a quarter unless you're starting from like a base of near zero? But anyways.
Yeah, and and I think China is going to be less and less relevant to NVIDIA because they're really pushing hard to be the next NVIDIA, and they don't want to be like. North America doesn't want to be reliant on Chinese goods. The Chinese people don't want to be reliant on North American goods equally as much. So I think there's definitely the AI race is on. So one of our members got me good here. A pretty funny comment. I don't know if you heard it, Peter.
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, we were talking about, I was talking about, I don't remember, I was talking about Cracker Barrel.
Oh, yes, we were talking about that too.
Yeah, it was interesting because it's it's a real actually good business case study because Cracker Barrel is I think is struggling as a restaurant. I think literally their customers are dying off. That their demographic that is primarily older people pull up in RVs. And so the CEO is obviously trying to make a bit of a shift, be a little bit more modern, more appealing to maybe a younger crowd, and and now they're going back to the old. And I said at one point, I said, yeah, I didn't think the old the old thing was that bad. The old guy leaning beside the barrel, and then Brian in the trading room said, "That's because you're old." so, so there you go.
There you go. Well, yeah,
Zing.
here I got on the screen the old logo and the what was the new logo, and I guess they're going back to the old
Yep.
dude, right? So, yeah, well, all right.
Yeah, and
I
I thought,
always
well, to be completely sexist, you could have had sort of a younger girl be standing behind the old guy. So there you go. Could have could have struck a middle ground.
what I find amazing is like I went into a Cracker Barrel probably last 2 years ago, maybe. Every once in a while on a road trip, I'll do it. And I think it was when I was heading down to the
Yep.
Carolinas, and I stopped in one at some point. And anyways, you go through the store, and the store has got stuff that like people. I don't know if anybody who buys this stuff anymore. Like it's got all the kitschy, crappy stuff, but even more than that, like they were selling CDs. They were selling like CDs of
Oh
artists
wow.
that haven't been in, like Reba McEntire CDs, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I was looking at these and I'm like, who buys a CD anymore? I don't know. It just seemed like they hadn't updated their inventory in about as long as they hadn't updated their logo, I guess.
I guess, eh? Well, it shows the perils of trying to shift your marketing strategy to a different demographic. It shows the peril that you face in offending your existing market base. So what
And,
happened?
and
As I
hey,
said,
hey,
it's a
nothing against Reba.
good business case study.
I'm just saying she hasn't
So yeah,
had a new album in a
SDSS
while.
is going nuts. Yeah, I just be careful with this, guys. We're into the second halt now. I always I always think first halt's usually pretty good, second halt okay, third halt you're starting to push your luck. The people that are buying this and chasing this up, there's only um, only so many people that are going to chase this, and eventually you're going to run out of buyers.
What's the ticker you're
It's
talking
going to
about?
be one of STSS.
Okay.
I don't know, John. Does your Tesla have a CD player?
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
There's no way.
Why am I not surprised?
A
It
trunk
does not.
mounted 10 disc changer.
I could have used one
So,
yesterday though, because the Spotify went on the fritz a little bit. So I mean, at least the CD would have worked,
Oh,
okay.
presumably.
unless you hit a bump.
It's true. Need that anti-skip memory added into it.
My car has a CD player, but it's 20 years old. So
Yeah, I don't know what year they stopped putting the CD players in the cars.
I think it depends on the car. I mean, for some of them, it
So,
was only 2 or 3 years ago.
so kind of, I mean, thanks for sticking with us on YouTube here. The markets have kind of gone flat ever since around sort of 10:15, 10:20. The Qs and the SPY really have done nothing. PLTR is flattened out. Oh, yeah, STSS is rocking again. Just be careful now. I mean, it's not to say that it won't keep going up, but
Yeah. As you
SPY's
said,
flushing a bit here. That's dragging down most normal stocks.
it's coming out of the second halt here on
yeah, wow, look at
STSS.
the Q's just and the SPY just dropped. Yeah, STSS, if you're in it, you do not want to be stuck in this if it halts going down.
You look okay for the moment. The level up and level down are a fair distance away from the current price. So,
Yeah.
uh,
What really shocked me today is this ANF, this Abercrombie and Fitch, kind of looked like it was sort of setting up for a rising devil. Glad I didn't take it. It was, it was so weak going into through the whole
I think
pre-market, and then it's just ripped right from the get-go. And I kind of feel like, it's an NYSE stock. I kind of feel like these things can be manipulated, and it just feels like that was a example of that.
There goes NVIDIA to PDC. It's just about to go green if it can push a little more.
Yeah, Nvidia is just about to go green there. Damn, some major. Let's take a look at STSS on the on Bookmap just to see what we got here. See if there's anything interesting going on.
yeah, probably not a
Pretty
lot, I
thin
would
book
think.
actually.
Yeah.
No, you've got around 1850. You've got 10,000 shares. Not a lot when you look at the volume that this thing's done. 5.6 million already. You got a big order at 11.
This is a stock that on an average day trades only 1.7 million shares, so we're, sort of 3 times its
Right.
normal trading volume already. NVIDIA green at the moment.
Yeah, let's see what. Yeah, look at that. Bit of a flush on the Qs. Now we're right back up to high of day or close to it. Yeah, and Elon spends a lot of time in court, doesn't he? Or at least he has his lawyer spending a lot
I
of
think his
time in
lawyers
court.
do.
Yeah, he's uh, he's continuing to sue Sam Altman. Now I think it's Meta and something else.
Suing Meta.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I heard about
Sean,
that.
you're looking at using the replay simulator. Um, I think the important thing is to try not to use it like a game. Um, try to if you want to get the most out of it, use it to practice your trade book, your trade setups. Sometimes you go on there and because you haven't got real skin in the game, you don't have any money involved, so the emotions aren't there. Um, you know, if you get into a trade and it starts losing, you just start. It's easy just to start adding to the trade because you're not losing money. You're just turns into a game. So I guess that's the best advice I can give is to try to treat it like you're practicing like you're going to the golf the driving range and you're practicing your swing try to practice your trade book. Take it seriously. So we STSS, we bounced off the 9 EMA 2-minute chart, pulled back to that level. Now we're bouncing a bit. See what it does here. I think it's going lower. We'll see.
Level down is currently sitting at 1531, so it spikes that far down. That's where it'll hit the halt. Oh, just moved 1516 now.
Yeah, because of its alliance. I know it's funny. Yeah. Oh, Phoenix, glad you're enjoying my book. Which one? The swing trade book or the options book or the profiting as an active trader book? There's 3 of them there on Amazon.
Many books.
Always interesting to look at, what sectors are doing well, what sectors aren't. So technology, communication services still strong today. Energy is actually one of the strongest sectors today. What happened with Peter? Do you know what happened with? It seemed like there was some news on China because all the Chinese stocks are in the red today.
Yeah, we were talking about that. We didn't really see any news out of China that was warranting that. I mean, I think that
Yeah, there's got to have been something.
yeah, I mean the ongoing trade war, if you will, that's going on between China and the U.S. is just continuing. But China's been releasing a lot of very
Yeah.
positive economic statements about GDP growth and their economy, which largely are unsubstantiated. Again, I don't know whether they're true or not, but we have in the past experienced times where China's claimed growth statistics that haven't been backed up. So it could just be some market skepticism against the health of some of these companies.
Possibly.
Oh, apparently something Ming is saying that one of the big tech platforms released a super horrible revenue report. So that could be it.
Oh, okay.
I see.
There's a story here on Dow Jones about Chinese spies hit more than 80 countries with the espionage campaign. Obviously, cyber stuff.
They're
It's
can't be
called it
very good
this
spies if
salt.
the media knows about it.
Well, this goes back quite a ways now. We went back to 2019, and it's just was discovered about a year ago.
Yeah. As people are pointing out in the chat room, it could very well be the fact that the Chinese government continues to decry the use of NVDA chips, and they're pushing their local chip industries to not only produce, but to sort of ramp up their production efforts, and of course, Chinese firms to buy only local, so to speak. So that could be a drag on stocks, as we know that currently the semiconductor industry, at least from a design perspective, is led by American companies.
That's great. If you're enjoying that profiting book, that's profiting as an aft trader, a little bit more in depth, swing trading, position trading. Yeah, great. I always appreciate an honest review when you're done on Amazon. Yeah, I'm in this EVTL trade. It's definitely a long-term trade. It Joby is it looks pretty good too. I think it is the future of transportation. Particularly, everything's getting more and more congested on the roads, and these EVs, electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicles are the technology is really astounding. EVTL, I think they were the first ones to fly airport to airport. Joby's done the same with theirs, and yeah, military applications, just commuter applications. If you've ever tried to get around New York, so it's going to be what was that? What was that movie, Blade Runner? It's going to be like that someday.
Oh, hey,
How many
Fred.
stocks do I usually
What's up,
watch
Fred?
at the open? Usually like about three. I do have five up and plus the SPY and the Qs, but I try to as it gets, I'm usually, I've got 4 or 5 stocks that I'm watching going into the open, and then when it gets down to the last 5 minutes, I really try to focus on one stock in particular and sort of two off to the side. But watching more than a couple stocks is I don't know. I think you'd have to be like a um, I don't know, superhuman or AI. You'd have to have AI or to be able to watch multiple stocks and try to trade them all at once. You've really got to focus your attention on a couple. At least that's my experience. I mean, maybe there are people out there that can watch more stocks, and this is the challenge too, because sometimes you make your best guess as to what stocks you want to watch, and then your stocks turn into duds, and then you look in the chat room and you see 2 or 3 other people posting about great trades they had on whatever, and you missed out. So because you just didn't happen to be watching the right stocks. But as the morning sort of progresses, you can always usually find something else to trade. Later in the day today, I actually got a nice trade on the Qs. I mentioned that in our trading room this morning when we started going through the VWAP on the Qs around 10 o'clock. I said, this is, the Qs are going to go red or green. And so I took a long trade. So, other opportunities usually present themselves. So you just got to be patient if you miss out on the open. Um, and what am I expecting for NVIDIA earnings? Who knows? The market is expecting about a 6% move. Earnings, and they're probably going to report, a beat um, and revenue increase. But the question is always, how is the market going to respond? Is this going to be something that's already priced in? Or, are their earnings going to really beat and blow the cover off the ball? I kind of doubt it. So,
Yeah, it feels like it would be tough for
and
them
more
to
importantly,
significantly beat expectations.
yeah, and more importantly, it's what is the market thinking, and is it, like I said, is it already priced in? Is it going to be kind of a sell the news event? And guidance is always important too. So I mean, yeah, the numbers will be important, but it'll be interesting to hear what Jensen Wong says. I mean, they wanted them to stop selling these H20 chips because this new one's coming out. And as Peter already mentioned, and the people in the chat room, the Chinese are really trying to push their own AI technology, and it's going to become less and less of a market for them. But the market is probably significantly enough that they can continue to sell to other countries, and the U.S. without maybe having too much of an impact. But at one point, China was over 25% of their sales. So I'm just taking a quick look here at options positioning. see if we've got any really big, obvious options.
Nothing.
I would say definitely more skewed to the upside. There's a lot more open interest. And in other words, there's a lot more option contracts that are open on the bull side. You got almost 90,000 contracts at 185,
There you go.
and you've only got 35,000 contracts on the 175. So,
All right, we got to the top of the hour here. And
yep.
a couple things. I see that Thor and Vanessa are queuing up. And while you were talking there, we went to an unboxing video. What was that about, John? You looks like.
Oh, yeah, you probably heard my dog barking. That was the UPS guy. My son's new shoes have arrived.
Oh, I see. Okay. I thought we slipped into a different type of video there. All right. Well,
No,
what can you invest in? Well, I just say, what can you invest in for a 3 to 6 month hold for a decent return? I wish I could answer that question. I would. I think the AI theme is going to stick with us for a while, and I think. That's a tough one. I just, it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks that are coming up. I mean, market's really counting on this Fed rate cut that's coming up middle of September. But, Powell's playing it a little bit cagey. He's saying maybe there's a possibility for a policy shift. But, we've got PCE data coming up on Friday, which will give us another read on inflation. We've got another labor report. Seem to be a little bit concerned about the weakening labor market. So, I think there's going to be a fair amount of volatility over the next couple of weeks as we get closer to that number and or that meeting with the Fed. It's like I said, Fed Powell's getting a lot of pressure to do something here, to cut rates.
Indeed,
and there's so many people that have so many different opinions about whether a rate cut is warranted. Some people say, oh, it's still restrictive. Other people say, inflation's still a problem. So anyway, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
All right, Brian, we're going to cut over to Thor and Vanessa. They're out there. I see Thor. Look, there he is. And of course, one of the highlights of my day is trying to figure out what rock tee Vanessa is sporting today. I see. It looks like U2. Is that U2 going on there? Is that what we got?
Yeah, Joshua Tree.
There you go. There's always
one.
It's U2. If it's not Metallica, it's AC/DC. Now, here's the question I've been dying to ask you, Vanessa. Have you earned them? Like, did you get them at concerts, or have you bought them?
Yes, some yes, and some no. AC/DC, I never saw AC/DC, but most of them at concerts, yeah.
All right. See, there you go. Honestly earned. I love it. So, all right. I'll leave you to it. Guys, thank you, John. Thank you, Brian, for being here. Thor, Vanessa, it's over to you.
Okay. Why, thank you, good sir.
You, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prophet of Profit. Always good listening to your breakdown and your commentary. Always good stuff. You killed it today, so that's per usual.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, good to see you guys. I'll be hanging out and watching while I eat my breakfast.
Oh, nice. Anything good today? I had eggs, so it was really boring.
Yeah, eggs and fried tomatoes. The usual.
Fried tomatoes. I kind of like I actually sounds horrible. But I mean I'm sure many people would really like that.
Sounds delicious.
It's
Dr. V would like
tomato
it.
season here. Yeah.
That's good stuff.
All right.
I'm sure it's spectacular. It's just so good. Um, so all right, everybody, first off, before we get into this whole session here, as we like to say, welcome home, welcome to your channel from 11 to 12, where you come every single Wednesday. You can come by. We've got one of the best performance doctor psychologists available, period. We bring her every Wednesday for you to help out. So before we get started, though, I do notice that we have around 650 to 700 people watching right now with 292 likes. So that is a ratio that we need to remedy ever so slightly. So if you have a moment, just kind of like go bam, and like just like hit that little button right there for me. I will only harass you with that on a few occasions. Otherwise, and then for everyone, real quick, I do have on my screen my trade for the day. Lovely M2K S3 to R4 today. Caught the whole move, Dr. V. So got the alert in the pre-market, got the alert, took the trade, didn't touch it. We actually talked about with my mentoring, and I think this will go into our topic you had said you wanted to talk about today. As I was holding through the pre-market, the mentee was asking me, how am I holding in trades? Like how am I confident while I'm sitting here holding in the trades? And I really thought, like, getting into kind of the, that topic about, you had mentioned expectations in trading, regarding trading, I thought was a really interesting concept. So maybe today we can fuse some of that together. What do you think? So good to see you, by the way.
Yeah, good to see you and good to see everybody. How are you guys? Yeah, so welcome home. So as usual, you are more than welcome to share with us any question, struggle, win, whatever is there. You have the chat to express yourself. It's very important. Trading is hard. Trading can be a lonely business, but you've come to the right place, okay? So everybody here is respectful. We're like a tribe, okay? And we support each other, okay? For me, BBT saved me in my trading journey, and I will be forever grateful, okay, for this family. So
and we're grateful for you, V. On Wednesdays, we're V's tribe in here. So everyone, when you're coming in here, this is her show. I'm just here to make sure it, we don't, we have some fun. But just so come in here and V's tribe on Wednesdays. I love that. That's why I always start off the Wednesdays with the welcome home. So it's awesome.
Yeah, it's trading is emotionally draining, okay? And it's important that you get these emotions out of your system, okay? And your system as a whole person, okay? Not only your trading system. So anyways, yeah, today I wanted to talk about trading expectations. So there's different ways to see trading expectations. It could be, like you mentioned, in a trade. So what do you expect for your trade? But also expectations regarding the monetary aspect, okay, the outcome of trading. So when should I start making money? When should I quit my job? When should I tell everybody I know I'm a trader? When should I buy a Lamborghini? Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Like just the trading job as a generally also, what are your expectations toward that job? Because you might be also grieving something in the process. Maybe trading is not what you thought it would be. That's also that kind of expectation. I thought trading would be exciting every day, for example. I thought it would make me happy. I thought it would make me right. So all these kinds of expectations. So I don't know if you want to start, Thor, with something you have in mind about what kind of expectations you are dealing with, maybe every day or in your journey so far, or...
Yeah, I think I can definitely. So someone was just asking, Thor, you did a great thing explaining my habit of revenge trading. I want to know, do you have any tips for me? and I think I can kind of tie these two things together. So for me, what I have found, and recently I've actually been doing a lot of self work, right? Getting to the next level of my trading has been less, and this is one of the reasons I have Dr. V in here, because I actually started doing some of this work with Dr. V, which is why I was like, man, she's got to be on this show. She has to be the regular on the Wednesdays because she kicks butt, right? And I knew it through my own experience, right? So one of the things I started working as I was exploring this was my relationship with the market, right? So I've been doing some study on attachment styles lately. Like if you're like someone who is, who's more of an attached personality versus someone who has more of a secure style versus someone who has more of an avoidant style, right? Like if you are, and inevitably you should look to have a secure relationship with the market, you may ask me, what does that mean? Well, it means you have a want-based relationship, not a needs-based relationship, right? When you interact with the market, you should interact with the market when you want to, right? When all of the things are in alignment that fit what you want to have happen, you do that thing, right? But if you're ever approaching not just the market, but really any relationship you have with your friends, with loved ones, with your hobby, like being a musician and going from being a part-time musician to being a full-time paid musician, you transition, from this want-based relationship with this hobby, right, to a needs-based relationship, and that really changes the dynamics of things. So I think for me, the biggest thing to answer your question, what I would recommend doing is actually working on that, because that's what revenge trading is. Revenge trading is you needed to win a trade today. You needed to make money. You needed to, as Dr. V put on her IG post, you needed to fill the void that day, right? And prove yourself right. And the market is here to take advantage of your needs, right? You need to let the market come to you. You have to be secure in your ability to execute the way you need to execute when that opportunity becomes available. And then without fail, execute. And if you can do that and approach the market from that methodology, the anxiety, the overtrading, those things don't happen. And yeah, that's kind of my answer to that. But doctor, working with you especially has helped me develop so many of that idea of not just approaching just the market, but it's really been a good life approach for me as well. It's really taken a lot of anxiety out of my general life. Focus on me, focus on doing the best I can do, and not really worrying about the outcome of what's happening afterwards.
And that's really important what you're saying right now, because I mean, even if you don't want to agree, and I speak with me included, everybody here, there is no separation between what we are as a person and what we are in the markets. Okay. And sometimes with my tribe, okay, my members from my group, sometimes they're like, oh my gosh, that was deep today, like all what we talked about, like, wow, I never experienced something like that before. But guess what? You might need at some point a little bit of brain coaching, but also maybe for some other people, like also me included, I needed some psychotherapy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because the markets, like we say all the time, expose something to us.
I actually think everybody does, Doc. I don't think this is a something. I think this is something we need to recognize as traders coming into this. I think we naturally suck at this, just like you say. I think anybody coming into this as a job to try and make money with it needs to get their head on right, even maybe before they start putting money in the market. Like,
oh yeah,
it's a new direction. I think obviously, like you said, people have looked at this in the past, but I think the awareness of this in the future is going to be the direction.
it's so crucial. And even me as a clinical psychologist, I never thought it would be that important, that emotional aspect, okay, that individual we are, and what will happen when my money is on the line, okay? Because there's so many paradoxes in trading. You need to be ready to handle them. It's hard. It's freaking hard. For example, as humans, we all have strategies to adapt, okay? So growing up, even if we were in the most loving, kind home, okay, with amazing parents, we were very lucky, we still have, as a child, we need to adapt to the environment. We need to put strategies in place to survive psychologically. And these strategies will show up in the markets.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very important that you really try to identify what are my strategies for life. Like maybe as a child, I was told that I couldn't express my emotion, or at least I felt that I was not welcome to do so. So I was maybe emotionally neglected as a child. And sometimes, even if in caring home, loving homes, sometimes children cannot express when they're angry or sad because they are scared it's going to disrupt the equilibrium of the family. So they just shut these emotions. So it's like I'm saying again, we have a different past, all of us. But it's really important to go back a little bit and try to explore, how am I adapting to my environment? What am I good at? What are my weaknesses based on that? So let's say that I was emotionally neglected. Let's say that every time I wanted to express something, I was maybe my mom or my dad or my aunt or whatever was saying, no, there's no reason to be sad. It's sunny outside. And in other countries, they don't have food. You should be happy, right? Look what you have. Okay, yeah, I'm very happy. I'm very happy about that. But I'm still sad about something. So what it's going to do in the markets, it's going to have the effect of you wanting the markets to make your emotion right or seen. So you might put yourself in difficult habits that you expect the market to make you feel something, who agree with your feelings. So I know it's a bit complex what I'm trying to express right now, and also English is not my first language, so I'm very sorry. I want to say sometimes a lot of smart things, but I just don't have the smart words.
I mean, we've got people who speak French in here. You can just go for like seconds, and then we can all work to translate it. I am, for the record, on I'm level 10 Duolingo, so which means I don't know any French whatsoever, apparently. So it's yeah, we'll see. But no, James actually makes a really good point in here. All parents need to hear this information. Like I do agree. I actually think this is something, like anyone who's raising kids, this is something to kind of listen about when you're working with, because I actually relate to something you were saying there. I tend to rosy over very serious subjects sometimes. And that's a natural just thing that I've always done ever since I was a child. Like, because when I was a kid, being upset wasn't really allowed. Like kind of like what you're talking about. So like if you got really mad or got upset, like we were taught to be very poised, very controlled. Boys were gentlemen, we were very proper. We didn't have emotional outbursts. We didn't get sad, but also we didn't get too happy. Like it was all about regulation. And especially for someone who was diagnosed with ADHD as a kid, this was particularly difficult for me in my earlier youth. So I would often, when I would have moments of extreme frustration, would have to almost put on a smile and just grit through them. But this showed in my early trading. There were sometimes I was unwilling to accept loss, I think, early on, because I would just bag hold away, because I was like, I think you said this, maybe not on this segment, but on a different segment you did that I watched. And it was you had said when you cut the trade, it makes the loss real. And I really resonated with that. Like I thought that made so much sense for me, because it's like, how can people just do this? But you're right. Like, as long as you haven't realized it, you know what I mean? It's just not real, but it's, but it's kind of like just not getting upset and just saying, hey, I just will ignore being upset, you know?
Yeah, it's very interesting. So when we have unrealized profits, we're so fast at cutting the trade because we're scared of losing that unrealized gains. But when we have unrealized losses, then it hurts to press that button, right? Because as soon as you click, the pain is real. Okay, as long as you hold, there's still hope.
Right. So you're saying there's a chance.
Exactly. That's horrible, but that's the worst. Again, the natural way of thinking. It's like when I was working in intensive care in Belgium. Okay, so euthanasia is legal in Belgium. And sometimes, very unfortunately, patients are not going to make it. Okay, their brain is too damaged, but they're still breathing. Okay, they're still living, but there is absolutely no chance they will recover a life or a consciousness. Okay, so families and doctors have to take the decision, the very difficult decision of letting that loving one go, right? So I know my example is very extreme, okay? And for those who have lived that in their life, I'm with you 100%, okay? I'm very sorry about that. I mean, brain injury is horrible. That decision is so difficult, okay?
Of course, yeah.
But it is, in life, we have trouble quitting. And I highly recommend the book by, what's her name again? The book Quit. What's her name? She was world champion poker player, and she became a psychologist after that. She's amazing, but my brain is failing me right now.
I don't think I've read that one. Is that Annie Duke?
Thank you so much. So if
So
you
I've read Thinking in Bets,
yeah,
which was a really good book. I haven't read the other one though. I'll have to get it.
yeah,
Is this
Quit
the book by Annie Duke?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Quit, The Power of Knowing When to Walk Away.
Yes, very great book. I loved it. Thank you so much, Peter.
Thank you, Your Excellence.
I love the title, Prophet of Prophets. Your Excellence. So yeah, the pain is real, and we have to quit this trade. We have to let go of that relationship. We have to get a divorce. There's so many things that we have to quit sometimes in life, and that's difficult. So again, we get it, okay? But never forget that in the markets, when you quit, it's because you choose to win over the long term. Okay, because on the very short term, you're losing a trade, you're losing money. That's a fact. That hurts. You were wrong. That hurts. Maybe you've been wrong 3 days in a row. Maybe you've been wrong 2 weeks in a row. That hurts. Yes, absolutely. But every time you respect your stop, you're protecting the rest of your money and yourself and your psychology, because you respecting your stop and taking that loss for real, okay, clicking the button or just letting the bracket do its thing, okay, even better, you are respecting yourself.
Well, I couldn't agree. Dr. V, one of the things that I think is really important and this is why I think it's so important for your Wednesday segments, for everyone to come here and make sure we're doing these, because this game for me that we're playing here it's a psychological battleground every single day, because it's like, I have a metaphor that I used with one of my mentees, which is, it's like wading forward through a river of mud filled with razor blades. Like, you're gonna make forward progress, right? But you're gonna get cut every single day emotionally, right? Financially, you're gonna take small, tiny cuts all day every single day. There will never be a point in your trading career, and please get real with this now, because if you're not willing to do this, you're gonna hate trading. If you're dealing with this now thinking someday it's not going to happen, you're gonna hate trading 5 years from now. Every single day, no matter how good you are gonna wade through this river of razor blades, getting tiny cut after tiny cut after tiny cut. But if you can wade forward properly, you can make the money, right, that overcomes all of it. But it will constantly be that. So if you allow these, I thought about my son the other day. He actually was playing this game, and he just kind of had all these small things bothering him, right? He was a little hot. He was a little thirsty, right? He was maybe a little overwhelmed with the situation. Any one of those things by himself would have been fine. But because he allowed every one of those little things to combine, all of a sudden the dude's like, and he was just mad because I was beating him at putt-putt golf. But but he was just like, but it's all of these things. But that's us in trading. If we allow all of these little tiny things, and they will always be there. They will never stop. You're always going to have them every day, every week, every year. If you can't get comfortable with being uncomfortable, which is what trading is, it's just uncomfortable all the time. If you can't get comfortable with that, you're really not going to like trading. Like it takes that, right?
Also, I mean, trading, like speaking of expectations, I think we expect, based again of my personal experience, I think we expect trading to work faster than it actually works for us. And also we expect that we will win every day if we do the correct thing, if we follow the rules, if we, we take not too many trades, if we're good, we have good behaviors in the market. We expect to be like, to have the little stamp saying, hey, you're a good boy, you're a good girl. And that's hard too, right? Because it doesn't mean you do everything right that you will win. But you have to see it as a long-term journey, okay? So you will have red days, red trades, but that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, okay? Because your wins will be greater than your losses if you do everything correctly. Again, okay? You follow the system that works for you. Whatever happens, you follow the rules. Whatever the shape of the candle or what Trump said yesterday, or whatever it is, okay? You just do always the same thing. On the longer term, it's gonna pay off. It's gonna take some time. It's gonna take a long time, maybe, whatever it is. But as soon as you accept that it's gonna hurt, and like you said, that it's gonna be uncomfortable, and that you need to be easy on yourself, please, guys. I see so many of you beating yourself up. This is not a competition. This is a skill for life. Guys, the freedom that can come with that. Okay, but it takes time because it's so worth it. It's not going to be easy. If it was easy, everybody would be rich from trading. It is not. So again, think of it as day by day, me testing myself and my system, and also seeing trading as a relationship with the market.
Exactly. You're a mental, emotional Olympian. You know what I mean? Like you not only have to be at peak performance mentally, be able to stare at stock charts, analyze massive amounts of data in a very small period of time, but actually have the emotional dexterity, right, of a supercomputer. I mean, you got to be able to execute on an absolutely, and the only other people I can think of that have to execute at this level are professional athletes and Olympians, right, which I guess are the same category. I mean, because they're in the same area where only a very small group of them are able to truly be successful. And in order to do that, they have to be extremely not just talented, but able to replicate that talent on demand. I mean, it's a, you know, I mean, baseball players, football players, hockey players, they crumble under the emotional stress that they are put on to play a game. You know, I mean, it's just a game. But because they went from a want-based relationship to a needs-based relationship, right? They gotta show up. They've gotta play. They've gotta perform. They've gotta do it. The game's not fun anymore. It doesn't even matter how much they get paid. And that's why so many of these pro athletes go a few years, make good money, and then they're gone. And then you're like, why are you gone? And they're like, man, it just wasn't fun for me anymore. You got to be really careful in trading to dance that line too, because trading, if you let your relationship with the market, right, take that negative turn and go from a want to a need, this is when the market owns you, right? Instead of you getting to participate with the market when you want to. And in any relationship, you're disadvantaged in that category.
So, yeah, Chad, what is your relationship with the market? What kind of relationship do you have with the market?
Mine used to be anxious attached. It used to be my market.
And how it was, how was it showing up for you?
Just give me money. Just take me, please. Just tell me you love me.
Give it to me.
Just give it to me. Give it to me. Hilarious.
It's funny when we think about it, because looking at a chart when you're not in a trade has no significance emotionally, right? They're just candles, right? Or bars, whatever it is. And the price is moving in 3 directions, right? Up, down, or flat. So what happens when we're in a trade, right? Now we get attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
Now it is our trade, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So now it's me. I'm the trade. This is me. This is all me, right? So it has to work. If not, I'm still whatever it is that you're struggling with, invisible, emotionally neglected.
Okay, Tay says
rejected.
market hates me sometimes, right? Like the market's like, okay, Tay, you, right? Nobody else, you, right? You ever have that experience, Dr. V? I did this. I had a horrible trading day when I was a new trader. I was so mad, got my stop hunted, stupid market maker. Then I realized by accident I was in sim, right? Like I was so triggered, and then I felt so dumb. Like, because at the time I was just sitting there, I was like mad, like literally, I was out of my chair. Like this market, I'm looking at all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, I was in sim. Yeah, I
But
didn't get hunted.
again, it's the same thing. Sim should be treated the same way. So
Yeah.
very interesting, right?
Right, exactly.
But good
Long
for you
road,
that
come a long way. I've come a long way in, 7 or 8 years. I can tell you, it's a journey. A
it
lot of people
is.
don't understand. Like it is going to be a holistic journey. You will not become a better trader. You will have to become ideally the best version of yourself in order to accomplish what you're trying to do. Maybe even a better version than you knew you had in there. You're gonna have to really push yourself. So, but it's doable. I mean, I think if I can do it, anyone can.
And practically, but you have an advantage personality-wise, because you're very comfortable in doing the same thing over and over again.
Right, it's true.
And I think that people that have these personality characteristics have an edge, because trading is really that, right? But when we're trying to spice things up,
Yeah, I'm not spicy. That's what Brian Pesum's for. Brian and Pesum's here to keep things spicy. I'm water. I'm a Cancer. I'm a water sign. I'm just here. Saya, don't laugh, Haboob. Don't laugh. Call me spicy. That's
Yeah,
so funny.
you are very emotionally mature too, So the way you approach the markets, and again, experience. Okay, so I'm sure a lot of new traders are looking at your trade saying, hey, I want to trade like that today. But I'm sure if you, and next time we have a YouTube, you should show us some charts of you in the beginning, like your executions.
Oh, I have some.
Oh, we would love to see a
I
live
screenshotted every
show.
trade I've ever taken, like my entire trading career.
And I have some if you want to see too. There's so many arrows there. So
Oh
I
my
was
God.
actually partially,
Let's find some partials, shall we?
I was partialing like a $10 risk or something.
Oh, hold on. Dang it. I just found like a really good picture of Peter. It was a really good Peter blackmail mugshot that I forgot I took. Oh well, I'll just keep going. You're welcome, Peter. Hold on, let me see if I can find one.
So somebody's asking if YM is a short now.
I mean, so you can see here, this was from 2023. I was shorting R3 on Tesla, but look, partials. That's a good one, Peter. I like that picture much better. See, that's much better than this one I have. This is Peter and Carlos at Christmas. I love it. Sorry. All right. So Tesla trade here. You can see here, look, partials.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. But that's from 2023, though. And look at the exact same entry I would basically still be doing today. The only difference is now I just hold longer for the most part. Here's a Tesla. Oh, look, here's a R4 failure. I shorted, took two partials and added, and then got stopped out because I sucked at adding. Still suck at adding.
What's that? I mean, come on. There's
Look at this. QQQ, short R4. Look, partial, a partial, an ad. Hey, I did an ad. That worked. Partial.
And you partialed 30 cents after.
Look at this partial. And then break you. Now I move my stop here, but look at like what ad? Like where did I put it? Like above here? Like, but now like what ratio is that? Nobody knows what ratio that is. There's no, that doesn't work. Okay, hold on. I'm telling you, I've been doing this. Oh, can we keep going, please? 2022. Ooh. Twitter in 2022, S3 buy. It was still called Twitter in this trade. So it wasn't even an X, right? So long here, that. Now I look at the difference.
Not a bad trade. Come on. Mine are so
But that's going back to 2020. That's back to 2020, early 2022. So, and then this is today though. Look at that. One in, one out.
But you see, guys, it's a process.
But the consistency, you know.
Yeah, because you have more conviction, because you have more confidence, because you should buy Thor's book. It is also you trust it. Come on. Well, where's
Oh my gosh.
what we're asking for?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, that's funny. All right, so yes, back in focused.
Also, when we have the question like, how can you trust a trade? It comes with time, right?
Yeah, 100%. Well, so the reason I started to illustrate this was I actually published this in 2022, right? So if you think about that, I was detailing my system for a year to 2 years prior. So I've really been using basically the exact same system and more or less the same exact way with only minor tweaks to RVR for over 5 years. The same exact system, the same exact way. So when someone asks me, how do you feel comfortable holding it? It's, well, I've seen this S3 buy with this kind of structure and volume work for me so many times, and it fits my system, right? So if anything, in that want-based relationship, I want to take this trade, right? It has everything I need. It's in the right place. It's in the right exact spot. Like there's zero hesitation here. One thing I have gotten even better at in my life is when I see something that I want, I don't hesitate, right? Like this is very important to me. Like, you know, it's, you know, and because and this has been something that's been important to me for the advancement of my career and maybe even some relationships. But I just don't want to miss out on what is the correct opportunity for fear that it's not going to work out, because all that fear is going to do is generate losses for me. Whether I win or lose this trade, that fear is going to generate losses. And I'm not into that, right? I can do this. This system works. I'm confident in the system. And I had a private instructor when I used to do music back in the day, and she used to say performance is when preparation meets knowledge of ability. Right. So the reality is I've put in a lot of preparation on this system to build it and put it together, and I know I can do it. Right. So I'm doing it. Right. So, and that's, yeah, that's what we do. Oh, we had a little bit of a market structure shift there in the, look at that. We started selling. So we just failed R4 up on 2K, and we just took a really big sell right there on the Qs and in 2K. So fun stuff, people. But anyway. So yeah, so
to quote my one of my favorite traders of all time, everybody finds what they want in the markets. So if you're afraid, it's gonna show in your behavior, and you will end up creating what you're most afraid of. This is
So
how
true.
it works. And this is not magic. It is just your brain paying attention to what's in your brain. That's how it works. You put good stuff will happen to you. It's not because it's the secret. It's because it's the brain likes you to agree with what's in there. Okay? So if you think poorly of yourself, you will act poorly. And then you will reinforce that loop for your brain. It's going to become a habit. Okay, some people have performance issues and they're like, oh yeah, but I always lost in life. I was always never picked in teams. So they have this victim role that they carry with them.
Right.
And it's so scary not to be a victim, because now you have to take responsibility and change. And that's so freaking scary, right?
Yeah, that's that like whole like external, you gotta shift it from the external to the internal. One thing that I think has been one of the biggest things I've learned from you, Doc, is actually being conscious. And I just mean like I feel like there's points in my life before I started working with you where I actually was going through large segments of my life just completely outside of consciousness, like just going through the day-to-day thing, just doing all this stuff. But as we've been working in these sessions, I've been putting in a lot of effort really on. And I think in trading, that's been one of the things that's really helped my trading, is just being aware, like being in the moment, not just being trapped in my head, just constantly reacting, but saying, this is what I want, and this is how I want it, and actually working in that retrospect. It's very, but everyone out here, if you can apply these kind of concepts, and I'm just going to let you lean outside of trading, if we don't mind for a second. Like, if you can apply this kind of thing to your trading, you can't imagine how much easier it is to be self-reflective. You know what I mean? If you can just be aware and be conscious. But so many of us go through our day to day just completely outside of just like you're just like in your amygdala the whole time. Like it's just like your whole day is just, because you're stressed, you're under pressure, you've got this going on, that going on, and you're just literally running from one thing to one thing to one thing to one thing. And you never take a deep breath. And I think maybe, especially someone would ask, when you have red days continuously, how do we prepare our minds before starting the next day? Because fear is not letting to stay longer in a trade instead of winning. Is there something maybe, Dr. V, that you could recommend for someone who is, especially in the trading scenario, out of their consciousness, to help bring them back? I know my buddy, who has named himself Haboob now, which is pretty hilarious, Syed, we were for the record, by the way, you weren't here yesterday, Dr. V, but we had a moment in the chat room where there were dust storms that were going on, and I told everybody that dust storms were called haboobs. And so Peter didn't believe me. So Peter had to Googled haboob, and sure enough, it is the word for dust storms, and it's an Arabic based word. Well, what was hilarious was there were literally like 8 people in the chat yesterday that were all Arabic that had never heard the word Haboob before. So useless knowledge for the win on that one. But now you will see Haboob has been in here. You see Haboob trades being put in there. It got a little out of hand yesterday. So we still have a little bit of overflow from that. But anyway, just so you know why this is coming in. So
I love it, Haboob.
Haboob.
We love you very much. You know that.
Haboob Trader is his new handle. So how, like, if we're like hijacked, maybe even in life, but especially in trading, like I know Syed has been using some of your meditative techniques to help him recenter, but like, do you have any suggestions maybe for us or the chat on, especially like, let's say you've taken 2 or 3 losing trades in a row or something, you're coming in the next day, like, I don't know, how do you get in the right spot after that?
I think you need to ask yourself the question, what is winning in trading? Right? Because if you get impacted by these losses, it means you are focused on the outcome. And I know it's easier said than done, but this is a very active and conscious exercise that we need to do every day. We let go of the outcome of the trade. The first thing that got you into trading should be the first thing that exits your mind when you trade. New quote. Seriously, yesterday was a losing day, or the trade before was a losing trade. Every time you do everything correctly, you win. Okay? And after a sample of trades, maybe let's say you had 20 losing trades doing the same strategy, respecting its rules, then maybe you need to tweak that strategy. Something is not right. And I think something that is very complex, there's a strategy, of course, that you need to pick, okay? And something that fits you, that you're comfortable in, but also the risk management, the ratio, risk to reward. That for me was the most complicated part when I started, okay? Because you could make money easily, go to 1-to-1, 1 to 0.5, But at the end of the day, you have to come up with also a strategy that will allow you to have bigger winners and smaller losers. And that's tricky. We tend to forget that part sometimes. We focus on the strategy. Yes, and what happens next? The trade management. That's the hardest part. Where should I take my profits? So in the long run, I'm profitable. Again, based on my style and personality. So that's very, very practical and difficult to answer. And again, if you're not there yet, don't go live with real money. You need to have these answers checked before. Do you have a strategy or 2 or 3 strategies that you like, that you feel comfortable, they're simple enough for you, or they make sense to you, okay? After, how do I plan to manage that trade when I'm in? The strategy will tell me when I'm in the trade, okay? I have an entry criteria, I have my stop loss. What happens next sometimes is blurry. And this is where sometimes it gets discouraging, because we are doing everything right, still we're not making money, right? And not because we focus on money, but because the system doesn't yield enough results for us in the long term to make a salary out of trading. So again, guys, go back to the lab as a scientist and try to make everything make sense to you. And then you go test it and you readjust, refine that system. So it's always that. So to be very practical, because we have 10 minutes left, okay? I want to be very practical with you now, okay? Choose a strategy, that you really like. Then you pick a trade management style, then you test it, and then you adjust accordingly. And back testing is so important. Go back to your charts. Look at them. What did it do yet? Let's say that you trade yesterday's high or yesterday's low, okay? You fade them, you take the breakout or the failed breakout, okay? Go back the days before, take the screenshot, have a folder in your computer. Yesterday's high, failed breakout. They look like that. Or fades, they look like that. You are a scientist. You need data before you put money on the line to say, hey, it looks like it works. It looks like I understand. It looks like I can repeat that process and press the button. Hey, it looked that I can take myself out of the equation. I do it. I repeat the same process. It's a habit for me now. Until you say yes to these questions, you are not ready. You don't put your money because you don't qualify. Because if you do it before, if you're meh about these questions, then you're going to end up traumatizing yourself, going too heavy, too soon, wanting to copy another trader, and it's gonna make you lose time and progress.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, and psychological capital, please. This is the most precious capital we have, okay?
So remember here, we're talking about athletics, right? Mental, emotional athletics here, people. So imagine you're a professional baseball player, or you want to be. Are you going to grab the bat after 5 minutes and go into a pro game and get in front of a pitcher that throws at 100 miles per hour and can bean the batting box from like 5 seconds away? Right? No, you will quit playing baseball in a heartbeat, because you will see what you are up against in a very real way. No, you got to go into the batting box. You got to go in the batting cage first. Just take time to develop the ability to swing the bat and hit pitches that are that fast, right? Once you gain that ability and you feel comfortable, you can even hit them, right? And this is, we had Sean here. Do you recommend going back and testing in sim, even though emotions might not be the same? Absolutely, right? So remember, performance is when process equals knowledge of ability. Emotions do not equal performance, right? Your goal should be to get the emotions out. Anything you do in sim, you can do live, as long as you don't put emotions in, right? So, but why not prove it to yourself in sim? Why try and prove yourself emotionally and technically at the same time? That's a lot of proving to do to yourself, right?
Again, sim is there to practice the ability to execute correctly. It's not about a trading outcome. It's to practice your brain doing the same bracket every time. Where do I execute? Where I exit? Where it's like yeah, like practicing your trading entries and your execution and your management. So there's no emotions. There's no outcome. Money. I mean, you can for what you could take one micro in sim and in live when you transition to live, but we don't care. We just want you in a position. Because that's the thing. If you can do the trade every day the same way with one micro, the trade is the same with 10,000 lots of the real size. Okay,
Let's go.
Not that I recommend that, but you know what
watch out with Dr. V. She's ready. She wants to go big. She's like
it's the same trade, guys. Okay, and I get it. We are not the same when we have 5 e-minis on than when we have 5 micros. I get that. But that's why you need to practice your brain on executing. And sim is like putting muscles to your brain. It's like going to the gym. You want to get stronger. So now you can approach the markets. You are ready. You are trained. And you go back to the gym and you practice, and you go back to the gym and you go back to the lab. This is always that back and forth. lab,
Yeah.
gym, play field. Always these back and forth. And before I leave, I just want to keep my practical stuff, okay? And I want to thank the chat so much for your comments, your questions. You guys are amazing, and I want to say thank you. You guys are so smart and so self-aware. Like I just appreciate you so much. We are so lucky to have you.
So lucky, and everyone got the message there. They're all saying, "Go to the gym and trade 10,000 lots." So they definitely all got what you were trying to say out of that.
I
They're
mean, if you
definitely
have
paying
the
attention.
account, if you have the size for it, I mean, no, seriously. So before I go to my lunch session, I would like to say, okay, the key points on money expectations. Okay, I know sometimes it's something we struggle with. Okay, there's no job quitting, guys. There's no attachment to the daily profit and loss. There's focus on risk, not return. We know exactly how much we lose or invest in a trade, okay? That's an investment from your company. You invest in that trade so that trade can make more money for you. That's an investment, and you know exactly how much, but the market will tell you how much you have. And it's not your place not to agree with the market. Okay? So you just surrender and you take whatever the market wants to give you. That's how it works. And you need to wrap your brain around that concept. And also, challenge as a homework, okay? Challenge your expectations toward trading versus the reality, okay? What's happening realistically as a trader from a day-to-day basis? Again, Thor and I had experience with talking with market makers and professional traders. That's not an easy journey or business. Even if they have been trading for 30 years, they have moments, days that are not fun. So also get prepared for these, right?
You guys are great. This is awesome. To something you mentioned earlier, I didn't know about that other book by Annie Duke. She's a great author and writes some great stuff. So the book Quit is good. Here's one of my favorites actually that I have right here on my shelf. And if you guys haven't read this, it's actually about poker. It's thinking in bets, making smarter decisions when you don't have all the facts, but it is completely applicable to trading. The decision models are the same. And I love this book. It's a real simple, real easy read, but it's insightful and well written. So yeah, Annie Duke's writing seemed to be very good.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you. A great example there. And thank you so much, everybody else. Doc, thank you so much for what is always a segment. I kind of agree with Talget here. I wish this was daily too. You know, I mean, these segments are just so much fun. They're so great, but they're not daily right now, people. So guess what? Make sure Wednesdays are on your calendar because you can come by here. Don't forget, if you are looking to work with Dr. V, you can find her on Instagram. And you can get to any of her media sites through there. Just shoot her a DM. She'll get you in touch. She also has her own private practice outside of things. She is also an aspiring rock t-shirt model. So between these endeavors, she is multifaceted, and we are so lucky to have her with us. So, Doc V, thank you so much again, and we will see you next Wednesday.
Yes, thank you guys. See you. Have a great day. Bye.